confines of the VK Jones Studios, the brand new VK Jones Studios in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. This is a special edition of the VK Jones Show right here on VK Jones Productions and also on behalf of JB Boy Productions, Mr. Stereo Dibs himself. Man, what's going on with you? I'm VK Jones here, and I am the best there is and the truth in sports and entertainment. And it's good to be back right here. Long time coming. And I hope everybody is surviving this COVID thing, this COVID-19 stuff, because now I heard in the state of Louisiana, it's going back to phase two. So that might kind of change the game. And what we're going to be talking about tonight is the LHSAA playoffs. So we'll talk about that in about 15 minutes, break down all the classes and all the playoffs and all the stories of this year as we have our guests for tonight. And it's going to be one of a few shows we'll have, and we'll have it probably every Sunday afternoon, breaking down the playoffs and other little things on the VK Jones special edition. So first of all, let me introduce my brother from another mother, my main man who's been co-hosting with me, also the host of Over the Top Rope, who's in a little bit of hiatus but is about to come back, Mr. Jared JB Boy, Mr. Stereo Dibs. What's going on, man?
Man, living life, loving life. Good to be with y'all, two purple chumps, doing this show with y'all. Good to be with y'all, you know what I'm saying? Y'all knew it was coming, bro. You're purple chumps. I'm not going to hide from it. I could be like other people and be very, very disrespectful, but y'all my brothers, nothing but love. I just keep it real. I'm gonna say purple chumps, not what others say, a P and a P. I ain't gonna go that far, you know what I'm saying? But nah, but all jokes aside, man, it's good to be with y'all, you know what I'm saying? Good to have this time to do this with y'all and have some fun, talk about high school playoff footballs in here in Louisiana and a little bit about the Saints and Pelicans and so forth.
Man, shots are fired. It's good to have you good to have you, Jared. And we know shots are fired already, especially the legal beagle in the house. And he has pride in his school. I'll give you credit. But at the same time, we know some alumni crossed over. So
forget that dude, bro.
It is what it is. It is what it is. My other guest in for tonight, one of our guest panelists that he's been on our show before, and he's a very good friend of mine, and he works with I think he still works with the Advocate, but associated with Pelican Preps. He is on the recruiting scene, and he's everywhere, all over the state, especially in Southeast Louisiana, and also a Purple Knight as well, alumnus who formerly played on the football field and played with some good Purple Knights as well. Mr. Deshaun Denims, what's going on with you, man, in the mighty West Bank?
Yeah, man, how y'all doing? So yeah, I'm still with the Advocate, with NOLA.com. Also with Rival.
Oh yeah,
been pretty busy lately.
Okay, Rivals, all right, Rivals, that's right. So you still handling business with it, and that's a real good thing with that. It's good to have you. Well, you got a lot of inside stuff because I know you've been out there and Jared's been out there.
Yeah.
I haven't been out there. I've been keeping it up with it. Thank goodness for the World Wide Web. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, some people like some people like VK. Why are you doing something? Because I want to. I want to do this tonight because I don't think any other entity is doing this. So I'm going to do a breakdown. I wanted to do that, but I'm keeping up with the action, and it's amazing how much I keep up with. You know what I'm saying? Because since I moved from Louisiana, I still keep up with my preps. That's what it is. But we appreciate everybody joining us on the show. Go ahead, Deshaun.
I said you're truly a gem. Even the way you keep your ear to the street, and the game needs you. We miss you. So I'm glad that you're back. Prep sports needs you. We all need you.
Oh my God, man! Let me tell you something, man. It's amazing how the people on Facebook who's joining us, and not just that, it's amazing the coaches that I have relationships with, and also the people in the media, including big shout out to Crescent City Sports. My goodness, they are like, bruh, man, we miss you like crazy, bro. When you coming back, I don't know, bro. I joke, but that's another story for another day. But before we get into the sports right quick, man, how you guys have been surviving so far with this COVID and all this other stuff, especially how this sports season has been going. But how's it been going with both of you guys? How y'all been surviving and how y'all been?
Go ahead, Deshaun. You go first.
Go ahead, Deshaun.
Well, I mean, it's been a bit different. I think COVID was for pretty much everyone, um, and it took a major hit on the local sports scene. Obviously, that affected those of us who were close to the game. From a standpoint, is affecting my primary job. Like it was different. It was something that I don't think anyone 13 months ago could have fathomed would have happened. Not on a serious.
Hmm. Wow. Jared, what about you?
It's funny because me and Deshaun talked about this almost 2 weeks ago at the St. Aug Shaw game. We talked about this. I mean, saying like, man, if we would have known to wear masks at this time, we would have told each other we were crazy.
Yeah.
But it's been totally different. You know, we have to follow safety protocols, and I wish more people would follow safety protocols. There's people that still not adhering to the rules, you know, and the guidelines of trying to stop the spread. With that being said, when it comes to sports, I love college football, but it still doesn't seem right because so many different conferences are not starting at the same time together. You know, Pac-12 just started. Big Ten started in October. That is strange. We almost didn't have high school football here in this state. You know, that would have been a big blow.
Right.
And you know, to have high school football is great, but at the same time, I was hesitant to even go to the games. But I've gone to some games, you know, and happy that I have gone. I go with my mask and everything, and so the Sean. But you know, just mainly for me, I'm just trying to follow the protocols. I'm out there working for UPS also. I have to follow protocols. I'm out there in this every day at work. So just follow the protocols, mask, um, washing my hands, hand sanitizer, just trying to stay safe, social distancing, all that good stuff. Just trying to do the right thing just to stay safe. And hopefully, you know, everybody will follow suit and we can get back to normal.
It's a blessing that y'all had football out there. North Carolina, we took a huge blow. Did not have high school football at all this year. They're just getting started with high school basketball and college basketball. It's going to be kind of hard. Some is going to get started on time. Some canceling games. It's been crazy. And my first live football game I went to was Florida State NC State a couple weeks ago. So that was the first time I was out watching a football game, and it was fun despite Florida State getting shellacked. But still, it was fun to get out there. You know what I'm saying? But Deshaun, I know the look on your face, bro. I know.
Man, yes.
All I'm gonna tell you is this: you know, we got people at Florida State right now, and somebody said,
Yeah.
man, some people said, man, no, Velvet, no, I'm being patient this time. I got people over there right now, and they need a chance. You know,
Y'all
more
should have
than
been
anything
patient with
else.
Taggart
Hey, that's another discussion for another
for another
time.
day. Yeah,
Oh,
I just want to say that,
another
you know.
another day. I
I, I,
go ahead. Go ahead, Deshaun.
about, about the tagging thing. Now I wasn't gonna say anything, but JP brought it up. I totally believe had they given Taggart his due diligence, he would have fixed it. He had to get his guys in there to run the different. I mean, offense. You basically was revamping Florida State's offense to fit a different type of offense, and they didn't get enough time. We weren't patient enough. I don't think we realized how much of a dumpster fire it was over in the prior to, and I'm pretty close to it, and I didn't realize it was, and I've been to at least 4 games over the last year and a half, and yeah, you can still clearly see the talent drop off, but we weren't patient with Willie. He deserved better than that.
I'm gonna say one more thing. One more thing. When Willie got fired in that year and a half span, he had a better record than Scott Frost at Nebraska. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
And all I'm gonna say about Scott Frost, he should have never left UCF. I'm sorry. Bomani Jones said it himself. What in the world you thinking? I understand you did your thing in Nebraska as a player. What in the world you thinking you're gonna go back to Nebraska now? And what kid gonna go to Nebraska now, knowing what you got at UCF? And I think Josh Heupel is learning that right now, and he ain't going nowhere. So, just saying. So that's another discussion for another time. But trust me, Scott Frost is sick in his stomach, and he should have never UCF. That's just being real. But regardless of that, let's talk a little bit of local sports. New Orleans right now for the next about 10, almost 15 minutes before we get to the LHSA stuff. First of all, the New Orleans Saints getting the win on Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. Yes, the Atlanta Falcons. It was a very interesting game at first, but the Saints get 26-9. Taysom Hill, great debut for him, and I tell you, the hard work for him is paid off. I know a lot of people kind of criticize Sean Payton for not starting Jameis Winston, but at the same time, Taysom Hill made enough plays to get the job done. And I know some people want to give Jameis a chance, which is understandable. But for me and myself, I always said Jameis Winston's a pick six away. But regardless of that, I'm like this. The Saints defense is really coming up big, and they're handling their business. And now they're the best team in NFC, thanks to the Indianapolis Colts. I hope you got the big fat check we sent you. So let's start with you, Deshaun. Your thoughts on the Saints?
Well, I mean, you pretty much said it. I found out Drew was hurt. I thought that Jameis would be the choice and kind of a glimpse into the future. That didn't seem to happen. And but from our standpoint, what reason not to trust Sean Payton? So obviously he knows something that we. However, he played admirable. I mean, I wasn't I wasn't disappointed in his play. However, and I hate to sound like the very bad news, I don't know if he can sustain that kind of play over the course of the rest of the season. You can say, you know what, our future's intact. I don't know if we're going to win a Super Bowl. It takes the only option at quarterback, and it's just bare bones like that. But the defense played amazing. What they're doing with Gardner Johnson is great. I'm glad they found his niche because initially in the season he couldn't cover anything. He couldn't cover his own shoelace. So the fact that he's making bodes well for us, and I think that that Super Bowl defense that we had, we wasn't really good then, but we pushed a lot of takeaways, and I think that that's what getting back into the mold of doing now.
Go ahead, Jared.
Well, it took Taysom over a half of a football game to find his rhythm and to get into a rhythm, and he looked good. He looked very good in the second half. I was impressed. He had a great, decent performance. The defense was outstanding. Cam Jordan finally shows up and gets 3 sacks. Trey Hendrickson, to me, is the MVP for the defense. He is like tied for the lead in sacks. Trey Hendrickson, give him props. Quan Alexander, what a pickup. We all know how bad of a man DeMario Davis is. That's a bad man. And Gardner Johnson, to me, had a great rookie year. I think the defense was, having trouble finding their rhythm early in the year. Like Deshaun said, he was getting beat, and now he's playing better. I think they finally found themselves. It takes defense a little bit longer to find their chemistry together than the offense, and I think finally they're starting to get it. They're looking great. But I'm gonna say this. In regards to this starting quarterback job with Taysom and Jameis. This is my point of view. Y'all can agree, y'all can disagree. It's all good. Last year, Drew Brees got hurt. Teddy Bridgewater came in. Teddy Bridgewater won 5 games, started 5 games. And you know what? Teddy got that big money and went to Carolina. You know what I think happened? I really think Sean Payton wanted to start Jameis Winston. I really do. But you know what? I think management came from upstairs, came downstairs and told Sean Payton, hey, we got this guy on a contract, Taysom Hill, that we're paying $21 million to total. And he's only playing 10 games, not 10 games, 10 snaps a game. No, you got to start him. You even said he's the future. You have to start him. That's what I think happened. Because I think the Saints want to keep Jameis also for next year, but keep him for cheap. That is my point of view on what happened. And I will stick to it.
I think that's a good point. I think it's a really good point, Jared. I think it's a really good point, on that one. And another person I really think that's really coming up right now, They finally using it running game, and I hope Sean Payton keeps going with that. But Marcus Davenport, man, he's been coming out of nowhere and handling his business. I tell you that right now, man. So straight up, I tell you, Saints are looking good right now. They move on going into Sunday. I believe it's who they got this Sunday. I think it's the they already played the Falcons. Now they got the Dolphins. No, the Broncos.
Broncos. Yeah.
The Broncos on Sunday. One of our friends who is a big time Broncos fan. I cannot wait for that one, and I hope the Saints just punch him in the mouth, please, and shut this boy up. Who's a Dolphins fan who keep on
Broncos
bagging on
fan.
the Saints
Legend.
fans? Exactly. You know,
Mm-hmm.
who's also the biggest BM fan, but we'll talk about that later. But but regardless of that, Saints Broncos this Sunday should be a good one. 4 o'clock Eastern kickoff on Sunday, 3 o'clock New Orleans time. The LSU Tigers big win against Arkansas, getting the boot right back 27-24. And looks like TJ Finley is starting to have a good rhythm more than anything else. Jerry, let me ask you this. How about TJ Finley? Does LSU finally have a quarterback? And also, do you think Bo Pelini is in trouble as a defensive coordinator at LSU?
Well, let me talk about this. I think T.J. Finley is the future at quarterback. Miles Brennan's probably done for the year, and prayers goes off to him that he gets healthy. I mean, he's waited 4 years for his shot, and then to get hurt, I know it kills him. But I think T.J. Finley is the future. Even Brad Johnson's son is pretty good, so they're going to battle it out for next year. But I think T.J. is the future. In regards to Bo Pelini, we gotta realize this. The defense changed from a 4-3 to a 3-4. That's a whole new system and a whole new different assignments for linebackers and DBs also. It's different from a 4-3. So, it might take a while for them to get used to this system, especially for those who've been in the system for 43 years. But with the talent LSU has, still in all, they should not be giving up that amount of points. Not at all. I don't think Bo Pelini's job is up in the air yet. Let's see what happens these last few games. If they show any type of improvement against Florida,
prayers.
against whoever else they got coming up, if they show improvement going to the end of the season, I think Bo Pelini will be back. But if not, and other offenses can still score on them with ease, Bo Pelini will be gone. We got to remember Bo Pelini was the defensive coordinator under Nick Saban when they won the first championship, and he was pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. I just want to see what happens within the season if there's any improvement.
I can agree with that, but at the same time, I'm seeing some things that's like, especially Saturday with the Arkansas game. I mean, some plays when the receiver was blatantly open, and I'm like, uh-oh. I like Pelini myself, and people don't understand. He coached top 10 defenses under Saban.
Correct.
So I just know that you got a new defense, new inexperienced players. You just know that this thing gonna take time. And then some of them, to me, some of them is trash. Let's just be what it is. Let's tell it what it is. But at the same time, some of it might be on Pauline because, like, come on, somewhere somehow you got to coach these kids up. But we'll see what happens. It's up in the air for me. What about you, Deshaun? What do you think?
Well, so I'll piggyback off of the Bo Pelini kind. He speaks for himself, but we have to take in number one being again, like we spoke at the top of the show. This is unprecedented. So not only with a lot of new pieces, they didn't get much time to practice. I mean, call that practicing. It wasn't live fire for majority of the year. That takes a toll of anybody. It's sort of common. What about other teams? Well, Bolin's defense isn't simple. I mean, it's no mistake about it. He's known for having a very complex defense. That's what on. And you gotta, merge that with the fact you have young players trying to grasp a very difficult defense, and it's the SEC. at the end of the day, every year the SEC is getting offensively. This used to be a defensive dominated league. Now it seems like we want to throw the ball all over the field. It's gonna be a track meet via the air every Saturday. With all of those things, it was a perfect storm. It was set up for LSU to kind of perform. Nobody thought they was gonna go undefeated. We just didn't think it was gonna look this bad. And your point beforehand, because you come out of high school, 5-star billing, and these a lot of accolades, it doesn't necessarily always transfer to the field right away. I'm not saying any of these kids are bust, but what I am saying is it's going to take time. I mean, I don't care who you are. Like you were mentioning earlier, you've been in radio for umpteen years, but if you take 2 years off and decide to come back, you're not going to forget it, but it's going it's not going to look, premium and polished like it would always do. So, Jerry, you've been, a martial arts master yourself. You sit down, sure, we'll win the alley fight, but it ain't going to look pretty, But,
Correct.
And so that's my vote leaning with TJ Finley. I think he's the most talented on the roster. I think everyone knows that. So if he prepares like his talent dictates or suggests that he would, I think it's a runaway contest. However, I expect really good competition under center LSU for sure.
Up next for the LSU Tigers will be Texas A&M on Saturday. So that should be interesting in College Station, and possibility Texas A&M probably in the top 10 in the college football playoff rankings. We'll see, but it should be 5. They're 5. Okay, wow, interesting. Are they ahead of Florida?
Yes.
Good job out of committee. That's all I can say. Good job out of committee.
Yeah, they counted their head. They counted the head meeting. Plain and simple.
About time. I'm sick and tired of people keep on talking about, regardless of them beating head to head, they're playing better. No, they beat them head to head. I wish the Big 12 would have had it right 4 years ago, and Baylor would have been in this college football playoff the first time. Sorry, I digress. But good job out of committee getting that right. Number 5 for Texas A&M, LSU, Texas A&M Saturday. But moving on from there, Tulane football. Oh my God, man! I'm like, why does Tulane do this to us, Jared? Why? Tulane always in the right direction, and some way, somehow, a big hiccup, and there's a reason why I don't know Tulane is ever gonna win a freaking conference championship. I don't know they're ever gonna win one. You look at a season like this, we were expecting Tulane to at least have a chance at a shot of the American Conference Championship. Or not just that, come close to winning it. And the way it's looking, especially a couple of the games, you look at some of those losses, that big hiccup against Navy, and to me, maybe one of the most embarrassing losses in Tulane history. And I think this one against Tulsa might be right with that because they had Tulsa dead
In the water.
and they just couldn't hold on. And it took a third-string quarterback to beat Tulane. Your thoughts, Jared, since you are an avid season ticket holder?
Bro, it's been hard. It's been hard, and you don't know which Tulane team you are going to get. And it's sad when they have big leads in games they are supposed to win, and they give the lead up. But then when they're down in games, they come back and win these games. Tulane is Jekyll and Hyde. Jekyll and Hyde. And I watched the fourth quarter when they played Tulsa. I watched the fourth quarter. They injured both quarterbacks, the starter and the second string. And the third string coming there and wins the game and win on a Hail Mary. A Hail Mary that forced it to go to overtime. And then Pratt throws a pick six. It's really, I can't describe it, except they're Jekyll and Hyde. That's just it. And they're not a bad team. They're not. Considering some of the receivers they lost, McMillan at quarterback, some of the running backs they lost on offense. Man, you come back with Spears, My boy, number 11, I can't think of his name, the speedy running back. You lost both of them this year, but you still got good running
Yeah.
backs. You got talent. And then Pratt. Pratt is a good quarterback, a good pocket passer. I know your boy was starting in the beginning of the year, but he wasn't. He's not all that of a good passer. To me, they made the right decision. But other than that, they are a good team. And keep this between everybody that's watching. Justin McMillan told me last year that they just don't have that fight in them. They don't have that fight in them for all fourth quarters. And he said they got to learn to keep that fight. And basically, you see it. They losing big, they come back. Here come the fight. They fight early and be like, okay, we got it, one and lose the game. You got to play four quarters. That's just it. And not a bad team. No excuses to why they should be in the running for the American Athletic Conference Championship.
Well, Deshaun, your thoughts of Tulane, and do you think maybe Willie Fritz has something to do with some of this a little bit? Because I'm not gonna blame too much on Fritz, but I know the Navy game was definitely on Fritz because they had no business losing that game to Navy and letting them back in it.
Yeah. In the words of retired coach Denny Green, in reference to the Navy game, I mean, we knew who they were and we let them off the hook. I mean, we
Mhm.
let them off the hook. I mean, I let them off the hook. I mean, if you watch the game, it lets air out of the stadium. It was a very difficult feeling. And I think they learned a lot from that game. As far as Fritz is concerned, I remember when they made the hire. Um, I wasn't sure it was going to work because he has our offense, kind of a old school flex bone option attack type of offense. But he made it work, and I think that it kind of compensates for maybe a lack of physical talent up front because they're getting the ball out pretty quickly and they hitting the hole for him. But you say something very, very important at the top of the conversation. You don't know if they're going to have enough to win the conference champ. I think they can be competitive. I think they'll always be the team most teams don't. Most good teams don't want to play. I don't know if they're ever going to be that team. If they're ever going to be the team, like the marquee team in the building. And I'm not because Fritz is a bad coach. I think that once he gets that ball rolling, he won't be at Tulane long. And they're doing a lot of band-aid fixing. They recruit decent, but they get a lot of a lot of graduate transfers, a lot of JUCO prospects, feeding a lot of their starters. The issue with, I mean, that's great. I mean, the rich get richer, but they have to perform. If not, what are we doing it for? I think they had this season alone, they took advantage of the COVID, issues with the free of change and things of that nature. Having 11 guys come in that were that were either graduate transfers or they re-signed from JUCO, and they were premium players other places. Even a homegrown product in Kyle Myers from Florida State. Um, e-
Oh,
um,
Deshaun, you hear me? What the last thing you said?
yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? And I was saying that instead of some of the graduate transfers that they're heading in the right. I think that he understands that hey, they needed him now. This window was detrimental for a school like LSU. Tulane, this is our to take off. This is an
Exactly.
opportunity for them to put their pedal to the metal. But I just don't know if it's going to ever be enough for them to be the top dog.
Let me just say
Absolutely.
one more thing, VK, one more thing. And I've said this for a couple years. Tulane needs to drop their standards to get in their school just just a little bit, because they will
They
get.
still got the. My question. They still had those. 'Cause I thought they dropped it years ago when Curtis Johnson was
They
coaching.
did.
'Cause they was bringing in a lot of athletes from the city and stuff like that. And that don't usually happen. I know Stanford has dropped a lot and they brought in a lot of great athletes. So
They
they still
need to
got those kind of high
drop it a
standards.
little bit more, and
A
watch
little
the
bit more.
talent they
Okay.
could get.
Let me say this. Jay brought up a very interesting point about Tulane lowering their standards. If you look at the job over at Stanford, David Shaw, Like lowering standards isn't a bad thing. You have to have a guy that's headstrong to kind of navigate what's going on. You don't hear about anything happening over at Stanford, putting out extremely impeccable SAT scores, and then putting a good product out on the field. Vanderbilt has a high academic rate coming in. They just can't get out of the way of the SEC, but their programs run correctly. So I think Tulane we'll probably have to take the same approach that Miami did when Howard Schellenberg was the coach, and just rope off the South and recruitment. It's enough talent here for you not to be marginal in terms of what you have stored in the cupboard.
Like the state of Miami. A lot that was a good strategy about Schellenberger. That was a genius move, you know. But they should
Yes.
Tulane should do that, and I hope they're trying to get there. And yeah, they need to just lower a little more. Stanford did lower it a good bit because you got to think Richard Sherman and a lot of these other great athletes have been coming through Stanford, so they still got some, but they did lower it a bit, and they bringing in their type of players besides the small ones and everything. A great mix in there, you know. And this I think Stanford, and I know one of these years, Stanford to me, maybe the only school in the Pac-12 can compete with an SEC school. I'm saying that because of the size Stanford has. And it's amazing the size
Yeah.
Stanford has up front on offense and defense.
But
So to me, I always say one of them years, but David Shaw some way somehow slips up. Because I always say Stanford can match up with maybe almost anybody in the SEC because of their size alone. But that's just me. But you're watching the VK Jones show right here on right here on Roast Stream, YouTube, and also on Facebook Live. VK Jones with you, also Deshaun Denhams and my boy Jared JB Boyd. Started talking a little bit of Louisiana sports. Prayers going out to Mike Napier, the head coach of ULL. He was diagnosed last week with COVID-19, and it's been a lot going on with the ULL program. We wish him the best. He's done a great job with his program. ULL has been pretty much maybe the story of the year in Louisiana college football.
yeah,
Your thoughts, Deshaun? I mean, Napier's been doing this thing, him and Jabbar Jaluk, how they've been working together and getting things going in Lafayette. But man, it's a big blow, but hopefully things will get better for Napier.
yeah. Well, with ULL, I mean, he kind of adopted the same thing. So a lot of talent in Louisiana. He's a pretty edgy coach. So he got in one of the best recruiters they had, and it's paid big dividends. This has been a great year for ULL, and they've been extremely lucky. Like, I mean, you can't put a barometer on how much luck they've gained. I mean, the ball has just bounced their way each and every time. But as far as him with the COVID protocols, again, like we spoke earlier, it's just I mean, this is unfortunate. We knew this would happen. We just didn't know who would happen to. And it's like now we've made progress. I think people have come more comfortable with what's going on with this virus, but it takes a big blow to college sports. I mean, that's affecting meetings, that's affecting what your assistants do, and it's going to show the structure of their program not having him there in the building as he deals with his protocol.
Your thoughts, Jared, on Napier, and ULL still in the fold for a chance at getting in the Sun Belt Championship with 2 games to go against UL Monroe on Saturday in the UL battle, and then against Appalachian State, but both games on the road. What ULL has to do to get the job done, and your thoughts on Napier.
Well, start off with Napier. Prayers and thoughts are with him that he gets healthy and beats the virus. And he's done a magnificent job at this university. Magnificent. We had Coach Mark Husband first. He started off with a great job, and then
Yes.
things fell down, and Napier took over, man. And he has done magnificent with the recruiting, the coaching, whatever you name it. Now, as far as the ULL football team, I've said that they are the luckiest team in America, and they have won games close margin. Like I said, they could be 1-7, they could be 7-1, just like that, just like that. But You have to know good teams find a way to win, and they have found ways to win games. If it's an overtime, game-winning field goal, you name it, they have found a way to win. And that Coastal Carolina game, one stop on defense. ULL is a undefeated team to this day. With that being said, they have more than likely to win one game out of two to go back to the Sun Belt Championship. ULM, they will destroy. They will destroy. Southeastern can beat ULM. That is just a bad team. That's a bad
Mm.
team. But the Appalachian State game, that's going to be another battle for them. That will be another battle. And right now, it looks like Appalachian State might not be going to the conference championship due to Coastal Carolina beating everybody. What a surprise team. We saw them when they played Kansas, and I was like, man, they look good. And they have not looked back. Confidence riding high. So ULL, at least win one of these games. I think they're good for a Sun Belt Conference Championship game. But don't overlook anyone. That'll be your first mistake. Don't overlook anyone. Take it game by game. Get by ULM. Look at Appalachian State. Then look forward to that conference championship game against Coastal Carolina. But I believe they'll be back just by winning one of these games.
And that will be huge for ULL, and most likely when they get to the conference championship, they will probably have to go to Coastal Carolina up in Myrtle Beach,
Yeah.
South Carolina. The stadium is very, very nice. The area, haven't been there. I do want to go to Myrtle Beach and see how it is out there, man. I heard it's really, really nice, and what a program that Coastal Carolina has out there. And don't be surprised, Coastal Carolina's head coach, he might be maybe a candidate for South Carolina's head coaching job. Be on the lookout. Don't be surprised. But ULL, I think they got a great chance. What a great story for them. Trey Regis, the former Shaw Eagle, stepping up. Levi Lewis, and what a story he has been from Scotlandville. And I mean, the guy is 5'10", 5'10", and I remember he played, and nobody thought he would play Division I football, and he's killing it. And he has one more year at ULL. So trust me, and Deshaun knows what I'm talking about. Levi has been doing his thing. He's been amazing, and he might be a candidate for Player of the Year for the Sun Belt. But what he's playing right now has been amazing, and ULL has been a great start. Hopefully they keep it going from there. Deshaun, what you got to say about? I know you wanted to say something. You was biting up the bit.
So,
What's something?
yeah. I remember a few years ago, his senior year. We hosted a rivals combine down in New Orleans, a quarterback tandem, and he outperformed every quarterback there. But for whatever reason, his short stature just drove a lot of people away. But the guy can really spin the ball. He came out. He was a late ad. He had on his hat. I don't even know how he was able to see receivers down the field, but he was extremely accurate, and he has a strong arm. I mean, he's a little guy, but he's a baller, without a doubt. Greg is, the Shaw product by way of St. Augustine. I want to say that. I think that was probably one of our biggest. We talked about that. Regas doesn't leave St. Augustine. We definitely hold one of those crowns. And that says a lot about Regas, and his maturation and process. So, yeah, ULL is great. I think that they putting it together at the right time.
Indeed, and he's really had outplayed former ULL quarterback Deion Ray that came from Helen Cox, and he did everything he can over there. But my goodness, Levi took it to another level for ULL. And finally, before we get to the brackets, the Pelicans, a lot of interesting acquisitions and stuff like that. We kind of questioned David Griffin a little bit with a couple of the acquisitions, but he's made a couple of little makeups that might kind of help a bit. We got rid of like I thought I didn't like the Eric Bledsoe thing, but they got rid of him, and they bring in Steven Adams, which is huge for the Pelicans because now we got somebody tough. Now the Pelicans got somebody tough in the middle. So that kind of helps the Pelicans a bit, but they still had George Hill that's kind of getting a little washed up, and we don't know what a George Hill is. We don't know. We can't
He
find a
gone.
George Hill from
He
San
gone.
Antonio.
He gone.
So, oh, he
They
gone
traded.
too?
They traded him. Yeah.
Okay.
They
So,
they kept
so, so the
Bledsoe.
Pelicans have Bledsoe. Oh God, I'd rather not have Bledsoe because Bledsoe has been a freaking joke since he got signed to the Bucks, and the Bucks to this day, and they're making it up right now, and I still say they should have never traded Malcolm Brogdon. How much of a him and the Greek Freak had a great chemistry together, and all of a sudden you bring in a guy like Bledsoe coming off the bench who became a starter and has done absolutely nothing for the Bucks. And I don't know what's going to be, but Jerry, your thoughts on the acquisitions, what's going on with the Pelicans, including the signing the extension for Brandon Ingram.
Well, that was the most important thing. The guy had a breakout year. He was an all-star. So you had to re-sign him. That was the important thing. And they got that done. Props to the Pelicans for getting that done, not letting this guy leave. Number two, we saw what David Griffin did in Cleveland. Okay. You know he had LeBron, but he made a lot of moves. Okay. So he's already known as a good general manager. Now, Drew Holiday, we traded away. I didn't have a problem with it. Okay. Because in the fourth quarter, that is Mr. Turnover for some reason. He might go 3 quarters on a turnover, and the fourth quarter come, he might have 4 or 5 in crucial times of the game. So I didn't have a problem with them trading Drew. Eric Bledsoe, yeah, in LA and Phoenix, yeah, he was pretty good. Look at the stats. Look at the stats for sure when he was in Phoenix. All defense, and he averaged 20 points a game. Now he comes to Milwaukee. Giannis is a star. But let's see what happens here in New Orleans. Let's see what happens. Can he be a better facilitator than Lonzo? Or is he coming off the bench? Could he be that sixth man that we need? Let's see. Let's give him a shot. In regards to Steven Adams, why is he here? He can't score. He cannot score the basketball at all. He can rebound, a little defense, but he's not going to score. So offensively, he's a liability. He's a liability. Plain and simple. Jackson Hayes, I'd love to see him get a shot in the starting lineup. I would love to. Athletic, can score a little bit. Hey, give him a shot. But now the veteran's going to start. With all that being said, and all these draft picks we're getting and this and that, who's the starting two guard? Do we have a starting two guard that can score? Or will it be J.J. Redick? I don't know. I don't know. And it's a Stan Van Gundy system. So, yes, we're going to have a big man. And it might not be the up-tempo we used to run with Alvin Gentry. So, I really don't know. I don't know. At least I could sit and say Drew gave us some points. The two guard right now, I don't know. Yes, Zion's going to score 20-something a game. Ingram's going to score 20-something a game. Who else can pitch in with at least 17 points a game? That's ways to be seen. Can it be Bledsoe? Will it be Redick starting or off the bench? I don't know. But I have to see first. I have to see the starting lineup, and then I can say for sure. But other than that, I can't say anything. It's a wait-and-see game.
Deshaun, do you say the same thing here, especially with new head coach Stan Van Gundy, which I am not fond of that hiring?
I wasn't fond of the hiring. I wasn't either. But I pretty much agree with everything that JB says. I mean, they might as well let start two guard if they're gonna let JJ Redick start. And I know JB can shoot. But I do think that JJ Redick is valuable. So I'm not taking anything away from his game. But I mean, the league we live in, you need an active two guard. We don't have it. We made the right move, making sure we get Ingram to a long-term deal, to an extension. Sorry, but as far as a lot of work to do, it's a wait and see game. We don't know what this team's going to look like. at all, and it'll be here. I think they start play tomorrow. Pretty much. I mean, the season's like right around the corner. So before you know it, we'll have a product on the field. But I don't think for a team that like we have that needs work to kind of gel together.
Well, cannot wait to see what happens with the Pelicans, this season and everything. I know it's going to be interesting to see what this new era going to be, especially without Alvin Gentry and without Dell Demps. So we'll see about that. But this was the part of the show we wanted to get to the Louisiana stuff. We got to the meat of it. Now let's get to the meat, the main course of this whole thing, the LHSA playoffs. Since we started a little late, Jerry, what time do you want to just shut this down?
Let's try to go from till 9:15 our time.
9:15.
Yeah, be 10:15 your time. Yeah,
15 my time. Okay.
that's cool,
Okay.
Deshaun. You good with that?
You good with that, Deshaun?
All day.
All right, cool.
9:15, 10:15. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're gonna go. Let's go now to the LHSA parents. It's been an interesting high school football season, as you know, ladies and gentlemen. I am in the state of North Carolina, which did not have any high school football at all this year. So that's something I was kind of lonely, but going to Crescent City Sports and the Advocate and everybody else, looking for some prep football action in the fix. And thanks to them, had some good games this season. Going towards the John Curtis broadcast, big shout out to those guys putting out some games this year. And going to Press Play Productions, that's the St. Charles Parish. Big shout out to them. I got to go to the free stuff, Deshaun, because all these the Team One and stuff, you got to pay money. So you know what I mean, Jared? I got to find the free stuff. Brother kind of poor right now. You know what I mean? But I appreciate the fix. But Deshaun, you've been out there in the field. Talk about how the season's been. This was a crazy year, looking at everything, and it's amazing how everything was so topsy-turvy that teams had to cancel games, had to find opponents, and everything else.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows in the brackets, and we're going to talk about them because certain brackets, to me, the seeds are a little bit controversial and a little bit deceiving. Your thoughts, Deshaun, on the season, because it was kind of crazy.
Well, I mean, how much time do you have? I mean,
just take a few minutes if you want. I don't want you to take all the time, but take a few minutes. Just give me your thoughts. How crazy the season was.
So we'll roll through real quick. So just like in college, you spoke about it. Teams have to find different opponents, but the difference between what's happening at both levels is college football has money. High school athletics, not all programs have a lot of money. So when you're trying to arrange games and change times, we talking about in some cases, I've had assignments when I've gone out, they've changed the time 2 hours in advance. That's not enough time to prepare for anything. And it's shown up. Some teams only play 4 games. They're struggling to find a 4th win because they've only played 5 or 6 games. You can't afford to slip up, which would have been for some teams it's been a great season to be 3-1, but you can't get in the playoffs unless you have 4 games. And it was, my heart goes out to not the administration, because a lot of people say, oh, the schools are losing money. Nobody cares about that. What I care about is these kids that don't have an opportunity, because you can't get this time back, that don't have an opportunity to showcase their talent. As you both know, some of these kids probably won't blossom until their senior year, and it's just been stripped from them, and there's nothing in place to give that back to them. Why? Because it's technically nothing owed to them. And so my heart goes out with them. This has been, I mean, just whatever you can find to make this dysfunctional, it's been there. I mean, I've been I've had assignments where we had one game and then it was rescheduled until I had enough time to practice. They're canceling games due to protocol. Like this is it's whatever Stephen King thriller they come true this year.
Yeah, and one of the greatest examples of how things are struggling with programs and how people had to really make do and whatever. I really felt sorry for Helen Cox, especially for Emmanuel Powell in his first year. The rough, the rough things he had to go through this year, canceling all these games, and had to play. He even had to cancel. They had to cancel the last game against Carl. I mean, wow. I mean, a state championship coach who's been screwed over by a program, screwed not just by a program, screwed over by a parish, by a charter school, you could say, twice. And now, like, and it's a good thing he got hired by Helicopter to turn around a program or school that potentially might close soon. But it's just the fact of the matter is what they're going through with COVID. It's just the fact COVID came at the wrong time, especially for Manny Powell and for Helen Cox. And I felt bad for them. And I felt bad for him. But at the same time, Jared, your thoughts on the season and how crazy it was all year with this COVID and all that, especially the topsy turvy world of pro football.
Well, you saw before the season started, I did a video that's on YouTube saying that we're not gonna have it. I really didn't think we was gonna have high school football, and all of a sudden the LHSAA changed their stance on it. They let the kids play, so thank goodness. But I said it in the video that COVID was going to hit these schools, and it has happened. We've had multiple, and I mean multiple cancellations of games. A lot. That's the first thing. I think we probably saw that coming. And then how schools and the LHSAA had to deal with it, that was new for them also. But you, in regards different like college, they can reschedule it, but high school really can't reschedule it. It's just a cancellation, and that's what it is. Number two, something else crazy I saw is Tad Gormley Stadium. Now we're in a pandemic. Tad Gormley was going to charge every school $3,200 to play inside their stadium during the day, and charge them $3,700 to play in their
Wow.
stadium at night. That is ridiculous. That's why
Oh
you
my
see so
God.
many schools going to East Jeff, West Jeff, Berman, Pan American, Nichols, Southeastern to play. I
And
think
then
the
on
only
top
school
of that, it ain't hard to play at Berman like talking about it at all. Because I
correct.
don't think Carl even played a game. They didn't even play a game in
I
Berman
don't think
this
so. I
year.
think I think Landry
Landry
Walker,
just played maybe
Landry,
two.
yeah. But
He played maybe two at Berman.
regards to that, that's why these schools are
He
going
got
because nobody want to pay that
rescheduled.
money. I think Jesuit maybe played
Wow.
2 games at Tad Gormley, maybe, but other than that, those schools want to pay that money. They should
Right.
be looking to get any money possible. And that's just charging $1,000. Come on. Every school, like this Deshaun says, high schools not making all that type of money. What makes you think they could dish out $3,700? That's the second thing that was just mind-boggling. The third thing is we've been hit by hurricanes left and right this year. And I believe Lake Charles has one school competing in these playoffs. And I think that's Lake Charles College Prep. I think they're the
Yeah,
only one from that area.
Mm.
But other than that, yeah, this has been a season that we will always remember, but want to forget. All right. COVID being the main thing. The main thing. It's been crazy. Deshaun said it. Me and him was talking. Man, I think he found
yeah,
out that Helen Cox changed the time to 11 o'clock in the morning Friday night, and he had to cover that game. So this is all football season. You know, you gotta move to a stadium. Okay, 11 o'clock in the morning. Man, we don't ever have games at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. It'd be 2 o'clock and maybe 7 o'clock.
10
10
o'clock in the
o'clock,
morning.
yeah, in the morning. Yeah. So this was all just brand new. Brand new. It's been mind-boggling, I'm sure, for every coach in this state. I'm sure it has. Mind-boggling for every athletic director. Oh, game canceled. Holy Cross got COVID. Okay, Brother Martin, let's see who we can call to play. Hey, Acadiana, can y'all play? Y'all, I see y'all open. Well, let's meet somewhere. Let's play. It's been that type of season.
It's been crazy, man. And you look at it, and it's amazing how these schools. And to me, and I hate to say it, and I'm gonna say it right now, and I hope the coaches are watching. I hope the parents are watching. City Park, you ought to be a freaking shame of yourself. You ought to be a freaking shame. Knowing what's been going on with COVID, knowing with all these storms, and you had no choice but to let some of these teams play after a couple of those freaking hurricanes because of the fact of that is they had no power in some of these stadiums and schools. You should have threw away the fees and let them kids play for free this year. Even on these parish schools for free.
Hey, VK,
Stop.
let me say one more thing. Let me add on one more thing.
Go ahead. Go
It
ahead.
was also, let's not forget,
Mhm.
Mayor Cantrell was not going to let Orleans Parish schools play football in Orleans
Exactly.
Parish. Those schools were looking to go practice outside of Orleans Parish. Let's not forget that also.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean,
And with Cantrell, and I can't really knock what she did, and we talked about it before, Jerry. I said that's the most courageous thing she has done because we got to be safe, especially out here in these streets, especially with COVID. People are not acting right, and I tell you, Cantrell was not playing, and I don't blame any of these Orleans schools. You got to go outside, practice, go outside, play, do what you got to do. If you got the money, got the budget, do what you got to do. I'm not knocking it, but the man and people can't be mad at that. It's just a fact of the matter is we are in perilous times right now. You just gotta respect the game. But I'm glad it was going on. No things gonna kind of change with this phase two, and because I think now a lot of you might not have a lot too many not too many fans at the stadium. What's going on?
Right.
So it's gonna be interesting to see. But it's a shame what City Park did, and with all these scrambling and all that. I never seen a year like this. And we're gonna talk about the brackets right now and how things have been going. We're going to start with let's go with the selects, and then we'll get to the non-selects. Let's start with Division Four. Division Four playoffs. The one seed is Calvary Baptist. The two seed is Dominion Catholic. Three seed is Washington Christian. The four seed is Ascension Catholic. So an interesting kind of thing. Local teams involved in Division Four. Uh, the let me see, the six seed is Country Day, and the seven seed, and to me, kind of a controversy, Riverside Academy. Now, I'm gonna say this right now about Riverside. For the life of me, looking at the schedule they have played this year and everything else, and including the wins, we can understand the head-to-head that Country Day got that win over Riverside. I get that, and I can see why they're ranked ahead. But no way in the world Riverside should be a seven seed. Riverside should be at least a five or a four seed, knowing the wins they got on that schedule. So, and they played more games than some of them schools in that division. And I think it's really an insult. Your thoughts, Deshaun, on that?
so no, I agree with you. It's so much to keep up with. I think that with the power rankings and the losses that some of the schools them a lot just from a mathematical standpoint. And Riverside is a powerhouse. I'm not sure um what St. Edmunds is going to do with Riverside Academy. I mean it bodes well for them, but it just it's what things have going. Like some, let's go to the bracket. So Country Day is actually playing St. Mary's in the first round. And Country Day has a pretty good. They're not better than Riverside. They're not a better team than Riverside. No one's gonna is gonna agree with that based on the way that it shook out. So I'm not necessarily. I just think that going forward, this kind of be the blueprint for how, maybe we can handle things. This is a doomsday approach to how we're going to seeding. in terms of the playoffs. But if I have to pick a favorite out of this bracket, and it's going to be different, I'm going to go off the chart. So the favorite was Calvary Baptist, but I am actually going to go with Country Day. I think he'll pull out a miracle in playoffs.
Wow.
I know something that I know something that you don't know, and I think Country Day is gonna happen.
Well, I'm gonna come back to you on the Country Day, man, because that's interesting. Because Guy LeCompte taking over that program, the one thing I said that was gonna be a big challenge for him after what was the coach who left Country Day?
The the big mug guy.
I know you're talking about shoot, it's on the back of my head. Very good guy. It's gonna come to me in a minute. Jared, your thoughts on Riverside? Do you think they are pretty much this is controversial for them being where they are with their rankings? And talk a little bit about Country Day's position.
Man, I'm on here in a bracket. I'm like, where is Country Day? I'm like scrolling back and forth. Like, I don't see Country Day. Then I'm like, oh yeah, Metairie Park Country Day. Yeah. I'm gonna say this about Riverside. I you know, that's a powerhouse, man. It's a powerhouse, like Deshaun said. And I just need to, I guess, see who's all in that district and who all played and what's the record of all those teams for them to receive a 7th seed, because it just doesn't sound right. Because that's a top 4 team with galore, talent galore. Okay, ever since what's that school called? Reserve Christian or
Reserve
Reserve
Christian, yes.
Baptist? Reserve
That's it.
Christian
Reserve
closed
Christian.
down, and Riverside got all that talent. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I don't know. I don't know about that one.
You better. Well, that's thanks to athletic director Timmy Bird, who and I say this to this day, and he always tell me this all the time. Knowing where he was raised from, and Timmy Bird was a former East St. John Wildcat, and he just know to this day he would have never set foot at Riverside, and all of a sudden they asked him to come in, and he wound up setting foot there. So because of him, Riverside has really taken off, and he changed really the culture at Riverside. Changed the culture, meaning back in the days, if people are old as me, knowing what Riverside was, all I'm gonna tell you was Confederate. It's not even like that no more at Riverside.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. Yeah,
Not at
yeah.
all.
Nah.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, JB.
Nah, I just piggybacking off of that. I agree with you utterly in reference to the culture changing inside of Riverside. That's what I've heard.
Gotcha.
Exactly. Yeah. Go ahead, JB. Yeah. Go ahead.
As far as Country Day winning the state championship, man, we've seen a good Country Day teams for years. You know, they've usually win the district every year, except when South Plaquemines was in that district. You know, they couldn't be South Plaque. Other than that, they win every year, and then they don't win in the playoffs. They don't win. Just like
this year is different. COVID
this
is
year is
opening
different.
the door. Is opening the door.
Oh, I mean,
for Day. I'm telling you.
oh, okay. Well, they're known to underachieve, and until then, they have to prove me wrong. But when it comes to this Division 4, all right, Washita Christian. Washita Christian is my pick to win this state championship. Yes, sir. I said it. Washita Christian. I just don't see Country Day.
That's a strong team. It's you asked the question earlier. You were like, who did Riverside lose to? So they lost to Newman and they lost to Country Day pretty soundly.
Yeah.
However, Riverside is a team. If the brackets shake out the way they should, we're going to get to see Washington Christian and Metairie Park Country Day next week.
Exactly. You look at Riverside.
That game is going to determine who's going to be inside the state championship.
And you look at Riverside's schedule. They beat a good Catholic Port Capite team. They beat a good Southern Lab team. They
Yes,
they they came close against Newman and really should have won the game.
they should have won
And
that
then
game.
all, huh?
They should have won
Okay.
that game.
Yeah, they should have won that game. Exactly. They lost to Newman. Controversial calls in that game. And then West St. John, a hell of a good team. A rivalry that goes way back in the '90s. So that was always a tight game between West St. John. And I'm glad they're battling again. That was a close one. They pulled out a win on that one. Country Day is a good team that they lost to. But I'll tell you this, Riverside, I think they're capable of getting there. Meadow Park Country Day wasn't really getting it until Joe Chango got there. Joe
That's
Chango changed the game at Metairie Park Country Day. And you have to think about it. The last 3 years, Metairie Park Country Day, you had quarterfinal. Last season, the semis. And they went down by 6 in the semifinals. And you look at the schedule last year, they beat a meet. They beat I think they came was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago. A meet. They beat Episcopal. They beat I believe they beat a 5A school. That was really good. East Jeff they handled them. I mean, that this is Country Day. And no at that time nobody thought that Country Day would be like this. And Joe Tangle did that. Now I'll tell you one thing. Guy LeCompte, and he came from a real good program from Mandeville, stepping up and trying to do what he has to do to maintain this
He came
program.
from Holy Cross,
Because
though. Mandeville, then Holy Cross.
Mandeville and Holy, right? Mandeville and Holy Cross. I'm sorry about that. But at the same time, he is a good coach and everything, but this is a huge challenge for Guy LeCompte. I don't know that they can get there. They might have a chance, but to me, the team that I think is going to win Division 4, Riverside. I think Riverside's going to do it. Riverside's going to be so motivated, especially what has happened with them being seeded 7. They're going to be insulted. They're going to be fired up, and they're going to feel like we're coming for blood. And whoever's in the way is going to get run over. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I think it might be a rematch between Riverside Country Day in maybe the regional semis. It might happen, but we'll see. Because Metairie Park Country Day, they got to get by Washita Christian, and they got by them before. Could they do it again? We'll see. But it should be interesting down the line in Division 4. Let's go to Division 3. The Division 3 playoffs. The 1 seed is Isidore Newman, and the big time quarterback himself, the Manning boy. All I'm gonna say that's Cooper's son, if you know what I'm saying. Another Manning who's tearing it up right now, and he's doing great this year. Just a sophomore, amazing. The 2 seed is St. Charles. The 3 seed is Notre Dame of Crowley, and the 4 seed is Episcopal of Baton Rouge. Now, the local teams involved in this bracket here, Southeast Louisiana involving, is Isidore Newman and St. Charles. And let's start with you, Jared. Your thoughts, the chances of Newman and St. Charles meeting in the state championship, and does Newman have a chance to finally break a curse that's been at that school for a long time, that has been known for some great tradition and some very good quarterbacks and good players?
Well, what kind of curse is this? Peyton? Did Peyton win a state championship at Newman?
No,
Did
no,
Eli win a state championship at Newman? What
no.
about Cooper? Did Cooper win one? Man. Sound like a Manning curse to me. All right, all jokes aside, it is a good possibility you're going to see Isidore versus St. Charles in the championship game. But do not overlook Notre Dame. Please don't overlook Notre Dame. That is a program filled with history, a rich tradition football school. Do not overlook Notre Dame. because I think them and St. Charles in the semifinals will be a hell of a game. I already think Newman has a easy ride to the championship.
Easy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think they
No,
got.
no, I'm saying I agree with you.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
even close. They got play what two games, and that's kind of just it.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's that easy now. I'm gonna say this right now. Newman, they can get to the dome, but all I'm gonna tell you, if they meet up with Lafayette Christian, they better be ready for a ride. Lafayette Christian is no joke. They
All
are
right.
no
We just
joke.
we just not gonna throw to Ryan Sage. Wherever he at, we not gonna throw that way. Plain and simple. We're not throwing
you,
Ryan
you,
Sage away.
you, exactly. You see, but it ain't just Ryan Sage. They got their offense is something else, man. You know what I'm saying? Lafayette Christian is all I'm gonna tell you. What they did to Evangel, I know Evangel is not that good this year, but what
Winless.
they did to them, I know this. I know, but at the same time, what they did to them was absolutely criminal. And I'm like Lafayette Christian. That just showed, even regardless Evangel was winless, Lafayette Christian young, but they still ticking ticking, even with the controversy that they have gone through. Lafayette Christian is here to stay. So all I'm gonna tell you,
I'm,
Newman can get to the dome, but Lafayette Christian ain't no punk.
well, I'm gonna say this.
So
I'm gonna say this. All right, they're gonna beat Lafayette Christian Academy. They're gonna beat them by 17. Yeah, I said it by 17. All right, all right.
Okay.
But I mean, and then to the dome. I think they already beat St. Charles Catholic by a lot. Could be a tighter game, closer game. Come come the championship game. But I'm going with Newman. I think it's Newman's time. I think it's their time. And this is one. You got a great receiver. You got a great quarterback, and they've been dominant in their division. And I am sticking with Newman to win Division 3.
Hmm. Your
all
thoughts,
right.
Deshaun, on Division 3?
I do apologize for the interruption and connection.
We got you.
I think that Newman has all the pieces this year, but I mean, you said something earlier. I mean, I'm not sure. I don't know what it is about Newman. They've had some great teams in the past. I don't know if it's necessarily enough. I think that depending on who they meet in the state championship game is going to determine whether or not this is going to be a surefire thing, or we got to buckle our chin strap. I think they're the favorite. Um, I don't know how you could forget Arch Manning's name. They called it on ESPN, you know, 1,200 times. I think I want to name my son Arch. It's one of those, one of those things. So
I'm getting old, Deshaun, bro.
we have a couple of more years. We have a couple of more years of that guy slinging the ball around, but he looks good. But it takes more than just a quarterback. He can't catch the ball. He can't play deep. He can't control those aspects of the game. So depending on who makes it to the championship game with them, and then Lafayette Christian is a dangerous team, but I think that Isidore Newman has enough to overcome that. So they're going to be my favorite to win as well.
Well, I look at it down the line, and I gotta agree with it. I agree with y'all guys. I think it's this Newman St. Charles for the state championship. I think it's gonna be really, really close. St. Charles is gonna bring it in that second game. It is not gonna be easy to beat a Frank Monica team twice in 1 year. Frank Monica will have his team ready to go, looking for revenge, looking for redemption after what happened last year, going on the road for the state championship game, and it'll be a close one. And I think it's gonna come down to a field goal, and Newman will win the state championship. Then they had great teams over the years. They even had Jay Tyler and Kendall Bussey Jr. and they still couldn't win the state championship. So Newman is they've been knocking on the door. This might be their time, and Nelson Stewart being a part of the success of that school, and also the legendary coach Tony Reginelli. Man, I tell you, Newman has fixture for a long time, but they've been looking for years to get that state championship, and Nelson Stewart part of that as a player for playing with Peyton more than anything else. So
Right.
now coaching Arch, this could be it for Newman. Could be it for Nelson Stewart, who has done an unbelievable job since he has taken over that program. He's definitely a lifer at Newman. I know I can see him retiring over there more than anything else. Very good guy. So I think we all agree Newman winning Division 3. We'll continue to break that down each and every week for you on the VK Jones Special Edition. Now let's go to Division 2. Division 2 is interesting in itself as the 1 seed De La Salle, 2 seed St. Thomas More, 3 seed University Lab. The 4 seed is Archbishop Hannon. The local ties to this Division 2 is the 1 seed De La Salle, the 9 seed Thomas Jefferson, the 4 seed Archbishop Hannon, the 11 seed Haynes Academy, which we'll talk about in 1 second, and right now for Haynes will not compete in the playoffs. They forfeited because I think because of COVID issues. Another school victim of the COVID-19. Haynes been really working hard as a magnet school to try to maintain a football program, and too bad for them that they will not compete in the playoffs at all. That they had to forfeit that first round. Your thoughts on that, Jared?
I mean, they're not the only school that's forfeiting, in the first round of playoffs, and we hate to see any forfeits when it comes playoff times. These kids want to play in the playoffs. They all want to compete for a state championship. So I feel bad for all of the students who play high school football that cannot compete due to COVID. I feel bad for them, and I feel bad for the seniors, who's this is their last year, and I feel bad for them.
Your thoughts, Deshaun, for about Haynes, school in Old Metairie, who's been really making some come ups over the years as a football program.
Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate. In reference to Haynes, I mean, and Thomas Jefferson as well. They were all smaller programs that not every year they get the quality of athlete to compete on a major scale. I've covered them for a few years now, and depending on what year it is going to end. COVID kind of sacks everybody, sacks every quarterback. So it's just one of those things. In reference to the break, I think De La Salle is one of those schools that I watched grow over years. When Ryan Mann got there, he's building a program. I mean, me and you talked about this in the past. However, I feel the same way about De La Salle, about Notre Dame and the college. I'm just not ready to drink the De La Salle punch. I mean, they look good every year. I mean, you can tell me name the last time they've looked bad. It's been at least six seasons. Even 5 years ago when they finished with 4 losses, they looked really good. Going to advancing 2 rounds in the playoffs, but I'm not ready to crown them just yet. They tend to have a thing about playing down to their level of competition. I don't like it. They're not finishing like they want to. My pick to actually win is going to be 2 seed. I like St. Thomas more.
Mm. Your thoughts, Jared, on what do you think about what's going on here in this Division 3, and who you think is going to take this one?
All right. So there is another Lake Charles school on the map in they're in Division 2. That is St. Louis Catholic. So, but they're not going to win. So but props to Lake Charles schools some of them being in the playoffs. After the hurricanes that hit. You know, De La Salle, they're going to get to the championship once again. They're going to get there, and I'm gonna leave it at that. They'll get there.
Yeah.
Okay, they'll get there. They'll beat Turlings Catholic in the second round. They'll beat probably Edie White in the semifinals and beat the championship. All right, but I had a good talk with my friend Mike Coppage. He believes St. Thomas More is the best team in the state, regardless of division and class. He thinks they are the best team. Now, I disagree with it. I disagree with it. Okay,
Disagree.
with them
You
being the
you
best team
upset?
in the. What'd you say?
I said disagree. I mean that was blasphemous. To disrespect some of the teams in the. I saw Mike when he posted that. I wasn't. Mike was asleep, man. Mike was tired. I mean, for him to even, and he's a knowledgeable guy. Like I respect Mike's opinion
Very.
above most
Yes.
people. But the best team in the state, nah, they're good. Not that good, Jay.
Yeah, I disagree with my friend, but that's what he says. Now, what I didn't know is this: they returned two big time wide receivers. LSU commit Jack Beck, Carter Arsenal. Okay,
Mhm.
their running back returns. Tobin Devino, he returns. Brand new quarterback, last name Walker. They return only 3 starters on defense. Okay, but their front seven is all seniors, and they have dominated. They've dominated. I think they had a big game against Karen Crow, and they beat Karen Crow. I don't see anyone in Division Two beating St. Thomas More. I don't see it happening. I'm sorry. They got a good thing going in Division Two. If they was in 4A, I might say something else because St. Thomas More not beating no Edna Carr. No, no, what you say, Warren Easton,
No way, no
no
how.
Neville, stuff like that. But in
I mean, they
Division
got Jordan
Two,
Curtis. They're not gonna beat Brother Moore. I mean, it's not a lot of teams they won't beat.
correct,
I could go
correct,
on for a
yeah,
while.
yeah, correct. But right here, Division Two, this is their division, okay? And they've had De La Salle's number in football. 2 years ago, of basketball, the overtime game. They have De La Salle's number. Period. De La Salle will not win this championship. St. Thomas More goes back to back, hands
Mm.
down.
Well, taking a look at Division Three, and that's very interesting on that one. De La Salle, Ryan Manali has done amazing over at De La Salle. Basically, probably the best coach ever come out of De La Salle High School. I mean, it's amazing what he's done to maintain it, especially the talent that's been in and out of that program. I think they'll be back in the state championship, and it'll be them and St. Thomas More. And there's no doubt about it. St. Thomas More wins Division Three, not even close. St. Thomas More, I know they're real good, but what I seen again when I seen highlights with them against Karen Crow, and I was like, wow. And it showed me something with Karen Crow. And I thought Karen Crow might be a real good opponent for Edna Carr, but we'll talk about Foy in a little bit, but I don't know. After what I seen against St. Thomas, when I seen something, then I was like, uh-oh, this might not be good. But I do predict an upset in the playoffs, and I see it right there. Don't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen. Vanderbilt Catholic is going to take down University Lab. That is my upset pick. Vanderbilt Catholic has been playing a very, very tough schedule, and they had a huge win a couple weeks had a big win a couple weeks ago against Covington, a huge win. So look out for Vandy Catholic. I think they're gonna shock University Lab. That is my upset pick in Division Three. What you think about that?
I like it. I like it. I like it. Upset pick. ULab.
I'm not.
ULab. ULab was a big
ULab
time
is a good
program.
program, but
Their coach,
I
the,
I
the
don't know
coach
about
they had, he
ULab.
gone. Or was that
Yeah,
U High? Or was that U High? Which one? Was it ULab or U High? Your boy that coach at
they're the
Walker
same
now.
thing.
Same thing. Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
uh,
Cool.
yeah. So I'm predicting that, man. I mean, tough schedule really helps teams, man. Just
I
like that.
like it, but I like it. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I do like it. If I had to pick one myself, yeah, I'll go with that too. But I'm with Deshaun. I don't think they beat ULab. I don't think so.
Now let's take a look at Division One. The Division One, the one that's near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah.
Division One and of the select divisions. The one seed is Brother Martin. The 2 seed is Scotlandville. The 3 seed is C.E. Bird. The 4 seed is Catholic of Baton Rouge. And with local Southeast Louisiana ties, Brother Martin, the 8 seed St. Paul's, 9 seed Jesuit, the 5th seed Archbishop Rummel, the 6th seed St. Augustine, the 11th seed Holy Cross, 7th seed John Curtis, and the 10th seed Archbishop Shaw. Now, looking at the matchups early and everything else, Holy Cross and St. Aug will go against each other again in a rematch. John Curtis and Archbishop Shaw in a rematch as well. And second round already coming up, Archbishop Rummel, Catholic of Baton Rouge in a rematch of the Division I state championship from last year. Now, I don't know if I see any controversies in it. I think I thought Archbishop Rummel would get a higher seed, but because Catholic of Baton Rouge wound up winning their district, that's why they got that 4 seed. But Jared, let's start with you. Your thoughts of Division One. Do you see anything that jumps off the board, especially for your alma mater, Archbishop Claw Legal Beagles?
Anyway, yeah, the first thing that jumped off the board was McKinley was supposed to play Rummel. There's no McKinley, even on the bracket. No McKinley. And I got a phone call saying, yeah, Rummel gonna play Catholic of Baton Rouge in the second round. I was like, wait, they gotta play McKinley. And they're like, no, there's no McKinley. Wait, did they forfeit? And I don't even know. But when we saw the power rankings before the final, McKinley was last, 12th. So I don't know what happened. But let's go on. Brother Martin has the best offense in Division One. Coach Bonice has always been an offensive-minded coach, hands down. I've always loved his play call and his style for offense. It's magnificent. It's the best offense in Division One. All right. St. Paul's lets people down every year. Every year. The first number 1 seed to lose in the first round in Class 5A to Central of Baton Rouge. So get them out of here. Jesuit, that I'm not impressed with, is going to go up there. They're going to win. All right. St. Aug and Holy Cross. You talk about a team in Holy Cross that has D1 talent, and I mean a lot, on both sides of the ball, and they can't get anything done. Like what, 1 win? That is unacceptable. Unacceptable. I sit here and tell people, Coach Salter Formaggio, to me, is not that good of a coach. Yeah, they be like, but East Jeff beat Neville, East Jeff beat Carr. Yeah, they did that. They had a lot of basketball players come on that team their senior year that was talented. You already know about that. You already know about that, huh? Yeah.
Whoa, wait, hold on.
You already know about that, huh?
I covered these Jeff for all them years when Salter Maggio was there. The basketball players played football first.
Oh, you sure about that? You sure about that?
Yes.
Because I'm telling you, I am quoting what came out the man's mouth when Chad went to Hornville for an interview. The man told Chad, okay, he told him this. Man, we had basketball players come out their senior years and they wanted to play, and I was like, all right.
I don't know about that.
You can disagree
because no. I disagree. I disagree because I remember Jamal Veazey. I remember Eugene Wells when they were sophomores at East Jeff playing football. So
I'm not saying Eugene Wells. I didn't say Eugene Wells. He been there. I'm saying other players that played that 1 year. Not Eugene Wells.
Probably so.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm talking about the main players.
Oh, no, I'm not about Eugene Wells. No, I'm saying other people. All right. They got
other
that.
people. I got you.
Yeah. I'm not saying the stars. No. Okay. But then Hornville, well, he got more talent, probably the best talent in the state, and he couldn't get the job done. Puka had to carry a whole team, man, a whole team. You couldn't find a quarterback that year? You have a quarterback that year, they beat Zachary in the state championship. They beat him. No quarterback. Puka rushed for 200 yards on a hurt leg. A hurt leg. And now you go to Holy Cross, and you got all these D1 commits, and you can't get the job done. You can't get the job done. St. Aug gonna wipe the floor with Holy Cross. They're gonna wipe the floor. Period. John Curtis plays Shaw. Curtis, quarterback, number 1. I don't know his name. Deshaun, you might know his name. He is hurt.
Buddy Taylor.
Buddy Taylor is hurt. We don't know if he's playing come Friday or Saturday. We do not know. But I tell you what, that is the main key to their offense. It's him. He's the main key. All right? And if he ain't playing, yeah, that helps out Shaw's chances. It helps. I'm not saying it will help, but it helps, okay? It helps. But I see Curtis moving on to play Scotlandville. Now, with that being said, let's move on a little bit faster. Brother Martin's going to the semifinals. Let me get to Rummo and Catholic of Baton Rouge. I've seen Rummo the past 2 weeks. The past 2 weeks. And Logan Diggs has been stopped. Other schools are planning on making a defensive game plan to stop Logan and make Kyle Wickersham win the game for him. You have to find ways other than running Logan Diggs. You got to get in the ball with screens or something else. You got to. You got to get the ball in your playmaker's hand. If Rummo cannot figure that out to get the ball in Logan Diggs' hand, they're not getting past Catholic of Baton Rouge. They got a good defense, but they're not getting past Catholic of Baton Rouge if they cannot find ways to get the playmaker, Logan Diggs, the ball. All right? St. Aug, to me, is going to be C.E. Bird. And then they're going to play Scotlandville Curtis. And then if it's, I got a feeling it might be Curtis. And if St. Aug can play disciplined ball on defense, maintain their assignments, St. Aug can go to the state championship. It hurts me to say that, but they can do it. On the other hand, if Brother Martin's playing Catholic of Baton Rouge, Brother Martin's going to win that game. But like I said, if Rummo can find ways to put the ball in the playmaker's hand of Logan Diggs, besides just running him, Rummo's going to go back to state. And Rummo will have a great shot of winning. So with that, with me saying all of this, I'm sticking with Archbishop Rummo to win state. And I'm going to go back to Shaw and Curtis. Shaw needs to get the ball in the hands of Michael Williams as much as possible. He is the fastest guy in all of Division I, and maybe the fastest guy on the track. Hands down. And he's only a sophomore. I'm done speaking.
Deshaun?
Well, so let me start by saying this. As far as the seedings are concerned, John Curtis, they pretty much they got another scrimmage game. Is they got. However,
hey, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that now. Come on now. Come on. I'm listening.
But listen, I want to say this about John Curtis Shaw thing. I think that everyone expects John Curtis to win. What most people don't know because they have not seen Shaw this year is that Shaw actually has a really good team. They're a very disciplined team. However, the talent depth is vast. This is everyone else. It's just that everyone else looks like everyone else's. If Shaw can find a way to get the ball into Michael Williams' hand, overload. Every shot down the field is that Michael because it not work. No matter how they get him the ball, I think that they have a chance to be competitive. I don't think that they're going to they're going to pull upset, but I think it's going to be closer than the experts think about. As far as it's going to be a runaway game or whatnot. However, you said something more importantly about Archbishop Rummel. Logan Diggs, without a doubt, probably the most talented player in Division One. I mean, the kid is a times, and I watched him play last. I mean, he's a great player, but Rummel has to find a different way to. I mean, it's not about how much he has the ball running him. It's can you get it to him in space. At the end of the day, in space, he's the best athlete on the field. Correct. But I mean, if you're gonna stack, if you're gonna line up and hand it to him, and give him a track read, they're gonna load the box. Anyone can do that. So let's not be vanilla if we're gonna be Archbishop Rummel. As far as Brother Martin's concerned and their offense is very simple. It's 3 plays. But it has to be the most efficient thing that's running next to John Carter's veer option attack.
Right. Very much agreed. Very much agreed on that. And looking at it, to me, looking at all these matchups, I hope we didn't. Let's see.
Deshaun, you there?
Deshaun?
Yeah, we lost him.
We lost
He'll
him
come back.
now.
He'll come back. Yeah.
But looking at these matchups and everything, the Rommel, yes, it depends on what Logan Diggs does. And also,
y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, we hear you.
All right, sorry about that. I'll be quick.
You good?
As Brother Martin's concerned, I think that they have opportunity to be very shit. I mean, they're undefeated. That's not a gimmick. Those guys are executing their offense at an extremely high level. Marvin has done a great job with them. It is a simple RPO offense. I mean, you see it all the time in NFL football, but they run that to perfection. And it's going to give teams trouble. So I do tend to lean to the side with Brother Martin. I am just not ready to crown them champs. I think they have a good shot. I think it depends on who they meet in next round. It depends if it's going to be Rome or if it's going to be Baton Rouge Catholic. If they're going to be play Baton Rouge Catholic in the city, Martin goes to the championship. I think if they play Rummel, they're gonna have a tough time dealing with Logan Diggs, and then you'll see Rummel again going for whatever number of championship this might be. As far as Holy Cross and St. August concerned, they have Holy Cross has some, without doubt. I mean, talent on both sides of the ball. They just can't put it together. I'm not sure. It's like having premium ingredients for horrible cook. I think that's what's happening over at Holy Cross. I do expect St. Augustine to move on. But it's St. Aug. You're talking about a curse from Newman. St. Aug has not been to. They haven't been to the state championship game since '79. Not one. They haven't been to the state championship game since 1979. I wasn't born in 1979. It was still another 6 years before I came up. That is an extremely long time, And when we talk about St. Augustine, people, it's a premium program, but to not set foot in a state champion game, you had the number 1 player in the nation for 3 years. Listen to what I'm saying. You had the number 1 player, and that means in everybody, all inclusive. With the plethora of Division I talent, and we couldn't get it done. So the jury's still on St. Augustine. It pains me to say that. I do think that John Curtis is playing with fire. They don't have Buddy Taylor. He's injured, or he might not be. He's hurt. But I mean, they could get in and get the custodian to play quarterback. I mean, that is such a very simple offense that they're running. And if you're following direction, they're going to be successful. Bottom line, as far as my picks to who's gonna win, Brother Martin gets to the dome. The idea who they're gonna face on the other side. I mean, it's kind of just up in the air. I don't have a favorite when it comes to that. Scotland be good, and they go either way. They've never been head and shoulders above any other team that they played. They just always been good. I think that depending on what Saturday it is or what Friday or Thursday or Monday or Tuesday at 10 a.m. is going to be, and that's going to determine who wins in Division One.
All right, now what I'm saying about Division One, and I say to myself that Rommel, it does depend on Logan Diggs, your boy Jared. You know what I'm saying? Logan's
That's my
Yeah.
great.
cousin.
It's
That's my
unbelievable.
cousin. That's my
Yeah.
cousin.
But also the quarterback play is a factor too. Wickersham has been playing very good this year. He's got to keep going. He's got to be still accurate. And Rummel has weapons, but they still got to get the ball in Diggs' hands. But they still have to find a way to have everybody involved, and everybody's been getting involved, and that's good for Rummel.
That's true,
So
but
that helps them.
they don't have the weapons that they had last year. They were much dangerous last year than what they were are this
That-
year.
I don't know. That may be more dangerous because Wickersham has been playing much better. The
So we
best
talk
we've
about
seen Wickersham play was
Kaufman,
late in the
Coy
year.
Moore, Kaufman, Coy
No, no,
Moore.
no, no, no. No. I'm not saying about the weapons. I'm talking about how the offense has been flowing. We're not saying the receivers are better. We knew
They're
Coy
not.
Moore was good. We know all them people. But what was the problem last year? Wickham was up and down. We talked about that in the regional semis last year. We see how Wickersham had a breakout game, and what happened? Got to the championship. We knew what Logan could do. Well, we just knew that quarterback had to make that play, and he did it. And he's been doing it all year and consistent. If he was consistent last year, oh my God. I mean, I don't think the Cavs game would have not been close because now you got an extra guy, extra weapon, knowing what they already have. But now you have a little more efficiency than anything else. Not knocking Court more. Look, that would be blasphemy if I say there's better weapons than Court Moore. I'm just saying how more fluent they are with Wickersham at quarterback, using all their weapons. We didn't see that a lot last year. We see some inconsistencies on the passing game, but now we see a lot more consistencies besides the running game. That helps Romo. That helps them a lot. Now you look at Curtis, and like we talked about Jared, and I'm gonna say this right now. Curtis, they're capable. Could they get to the state championship? Maybe, but with Taylor out, that's not gonna help them. Curtis don't have enough depth. This is the one year I can say Curtis does not have the depth that they do. Their defensive tackle is the kicker. That's not good news for Curtis when you don't have a kicker. That's going to be a huge factor for John Curtis. I have John Curtis going deep. I have them even beating Scotlandville. Lester Recall's doing great at Scotlandville, but some way, somehow, a matchup like this, JT's going to find a way to pull that out. But then it'll be Scotlandville, it'll be John Curtis, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say St. Aug in the semis. Because I think St. Aug's going to take down Holy Cross, and I think they're going to go up the C.E. Bird and take down the Yellow Jackets. All I'm going to tell you is this. North Louisiana is down this year. North Louisiana is down this year. You got a very few strong teams out there this year. Not too many. So I really think St. Aug's will go up there and win. I think Rummel gets to the semis against Brother Martin. And I would love to see Rummel back in the championship, but there's something about this Mark Boney story. This is a story of redemption, and it is real redemption because I'm cool with Coach Bonise. Me and him
Good
have a
guy.
real
Good
decent
guy.
relationship. Very good guy.
Yeah.
And it tripped my head out when I found out the day after they lose to Rummel that he had a heart attack. And I was like, he had a procedure. And
Yeah,
I
the day
couldn't
after they beat
believe it.
him.
I was
Yeah.
shocked. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God. I was just talking to this man. And all of a sudden now he's doing well and he's overcoming a lot of this. And he had a lot going on with his son and everything. I think this is big time redemption for Brother Martin here. I think Brother Martin goes to the dome and it's gonna be, and I hate to say it, and I'm going on them. Battle of the Seventh Ward. Brother Martin, St. Aug, state championship. And who wins the state championship? And I'll tell you, St. Aug, they didn't just, this will be the first time they've been in the state championship, but not just that. Last time they won it, Deshaun was 79.
Yeah.
So basically, it's been a long time for St. Aug to get there. St. Aug had great teams over the years. Not just the fact of Leonard Fournette and his team. Think about the team with Michael Franklin, Jason Burns, Akeem Jala. The teams with Roland Seymour, Raynos Thompson, Kareem Evans, Nemesis Bates. Teams teams with Jamal Fox, Sean Rhodes. I mean, those great semifinal teams and never got to the door, get there in short by at least a point. And I was on one of those teams. So guess what? I think St.
Well,
Aug
I
will
can't
knock
tell
on the
you that
door,
team didn't ran.
and I think they're gonna have enough against John Curtis to win that game. It'll be Brother Martin Curtis. Maybe I'm sorry, it'll be Brother Martin St. Aug, Battle 7 War State Championship. But the state championship goes to Brother Martin. I think the redemption story for Coach Bo needs to be so much. And you got to think, Brother Martin's been cursed too. Besides St. Aug, Brother Martin hasn't won state championship in the '70s since Bobby Conley. So that's a long time ago, and this is their first Cat League title, maybe since then. So this might be Brother Martin's time. I didn't know how good they were. We know a certain somebody that's a Brother Martin fan, but all of a sudden, when I seen them against Curtis, it showed me a lot. I'm like, they're good. I just knew how good they possibly would be, especially what they had back after last year. But these guys are good, man. So I like Brother Martin to win it all, but it'll be them and St. Aug in the Division One state championship. Moving right along, I know, and Jared, I appreciate your respect for the Purple Knights and what a job Nick Foster has done with that program. And I hope the St. Aug alumni, and I said it before, and I'll say it again, ride with this man, support this man, please. If you don't, I'm gonna come look for you. Trust me, I'm gonna come look for you. And I'm saying that for a reason, Deshaun. That's my brother. Nick Foster means so that's my brother. I grew up with him.
Okay.
So if you mess with him, you mess with the West Bank. So alumni ride with him, please. Please do.
You was doing all right till you brought the West Bank into
He
it.
said the West Bank. Like, I know
Hey,
all the West Bank.
Yeah,
Man, get out of here, man.
hey. Let me tell you something. I take it personal because his father coached me over at Mac Playground. So that's brotherhood. He's coached a lot of folks
yeah,
in that West Bank. So it's deep
I
brotherhood.
understand.
So it ain't just West Bank Marrero you gotta worry about. You gotta worry about that and the car folks. So he's deep. So
Man,
that's all it is.
Archbishop Shaw High School, the pride of the West Bank.
Move, kid,
Welcome
moving
back.
along.
Yes, let's just move it along. But you know what I mean, Deshaun. You in that West Bank too. You know how that go. You was from New Orleans, now you on our side. So you know how it is.
Yeah,
But
okay.
let's go to the non-selects now, and maybe one of the easiest of the brackets, the Class 1A bracket. One seed is Oak Grove. Two seed is East Iberville. Three seed is let's see. Three seed is Grand Lake. The four seed
Grand Lake.
White Castle. Now, does anybody know anything about Grand Lake? This is the thing I can't stand about the split. We find out unknown teams. So does anybody know about Grand Lake?
No.
Nope.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly the point. So basically,
I am googling them as we speak. I have no idea.
So basically, you got to pick the team that's the veteran team that has been there before that could win the whole thing. But let's go with you in the championship. Let's start with you. Who wins 1A?
So I'm going with Oak Grove. By a long shot. I mean, they have a strong tradition of going out to the dome, going back to the early 2000s, late 99 seasons. Oak Grove has been a pretty good team. All those kids in that one area kind of just go to that one school, and uh, depending on how many of those guys are born in that one senior class, is going to determine how good Oak Grove is over the course of the year. So I'm gonna go with Oak Grove in terms of them getting to the game and winning. I don't know much about Grand Lake. I had never Grand Lake until we started up, and I guess that's probably an indictment on my part. But it's so many teams in Louisiana, but Grand Lake, I have never I had a tough time finding them on Google. I have never heard of them. But I'm going with Oak Grove by a long shot. Not even close.
Oh yeah, local ties. Can't forget about ninth seed West St. John, who won the state championship 2 years ago. Jared, your pick to win Class 1A.
It's Oak Grove, and it's by a lot. I'm sorry, Oak Grove, very talented team, full of athletes, um, very well coached. I saw him play White Castle in the championship last year, and White Castle was a surprise team last year. Got to the dome, coached by my cousin Aaron Myers, who's not a coach, head coach at Central Lafourche High School. But Oak Grove was just too much for them, and they're gonna be too much again this year. I don't see nobody beating them. I don't see nobody maybe giving them a challenge. They might meet up with White Castle again in the semis, but other than that, maybe Haynesville meets up with them in the championship. But other than that, I can't go against Oak Grove. Oak Grove all the way in Class 1A.
And I agree. I can't go against Oak Grove either. I think they'll meet. I think down the line they'll meet White Castle and the Simmons once again. But White Castle good program. But I think Oak Grove they're back and they've been back and they're back with a vengeance, man. So I like Oak Grove too to take 1A. Hopefully West St. John will give them something, but I wouldn't be surprised. West St. John Logosport will go at it again in the second round, man. I mean that has been a hell of a matchup in the playoffs the last 4 or 5 years in Class 1A between West St. John and Logosport. So that could be an interesting second round matchup. Class 2A playoffs, the brackets came out, and the one seed is the defending state champions, Manny. The two seed is Magnum. The three seed, not Magnum PI, but Magnum, the Dragons. The three seed is Louisville. Four seed is St. Helena. And looking at local Southeast Louisiana ties, South Plaquemines, who is back this year, who has a home game, they're the 16th seed. A meet the ninth seed. Let's see. We have St. Helena. That's a four seed,
Kenwood.
and also Kentwood. That's an 18th seed. Now let's start with you, Jared. Your thoughts on Class 2A and your pick to win the whole thing.
The thing about 2A is there's so many good teams. So many good teams in 2A, from Kentwood to Manny to Faraday to St. Helena, North Cato, Amit. This is put your name in a hat and pull it. Being honest with you, there's just so many good teams in 2A. I mean, we could sit here and say, yeah, Manny's a powerhouse. They going all the way, but you can't really say that in 2A. Anything is possible. But I'm going with Manny to repeat. I'm sticking with Manny to go all the way. I really think you might you might see 18 seed Kentwood go on a run. It can happen. They can go on a run to the dome. They might beat Faraday. They might beat number 2 seed Mangum. It wouldn't surprise me. You might see St. Helena go, get to the semis. You might see Red River. 2A is just so many good teams, but I will stick with Manny to repeat as Class 2A champions.
Deshaun, your thoughts on Class 2A?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Manny. Affectionately called Manny the M Mini. So I'm gonna go with Manny in terms of him repeating. They have a good team, solid program. I talked to one of my good college friends who's a proud alumni, man. I mean, he's the only person I even know played for Manny. I mean, he's extremely proud in that regard. But JB, you made a great point, man. It's so many good teams there. You never. It depends on what kind of push they make in the playoff. It wouldn't surprise me if a deep run inside the playoff. Like I said, this is any given weekend when it comes to that division. And as you know, Meat always keeps talent. And they're never down for too long. But again, I think Man is the overwhelming favorite, unless something happens upset wise, and they run into that's equally talented. Maybe their records don't reflect. I can't see Manny not pushing on.
Well, Class 2A is interesting. A lot of good teams right here and everything. Manny, good program and everything else, but I gotta disagree on Manny. Manny is not. It took a long time for Manny to finally win it all, and they did. But they're not gonna go back to back this year. And I'm going out on a limb. We are fine. A couple of years ago, we had the Battle of St. James Parish. We had Lutcher, St. James for the state championship. Now we're going to have the long-awaited Battle of Tangipahoa Parish for the Class 2A championship. A meet and Kentwood for the 2A title. And my pick is A meet to win the championship.
Oh wow!
I got to go out on them. It is the fact 2A has just been a toss-up. Manny, for one of the few times, Manny and probably A meet a couple years ago, one of the few times that a team came out and really handled their role as a top seed and handled their business and became a champion. But that, like, looking at a lot, they got a lot of good teams out here that can make a good run. And 2A has always been a crazy, crazy class. And that's why I'm going out and say Battle Tangible Hoa. That's going to be the state championship. And
let me say one thing right quick. Shout out to Reggie Johnson for watching this show right quick. But let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell everybody that's watching also. This dude is an Archbishop Shaw alumni acting like he went to Brother Martin. Don't be texting me saying the names of people that play for Brother Martin and then Crusaders champs. Don't be doing that. All right?
Oh my God.
Stick to the green and white that you bleed. I'm done.
Man. Hey. I understand how you feel, but at the same time, you know this has been happening over the years, Jared. I know you love Shaw, but a lot of alumnus has already crossed over their children to other schools. So
let me say.
I know you want the pride back. I know you want the pride back.
Let me just speak. Let me speak on it.
Go ahead, speak your piece.
Everybody has a right to send their child wherever they want to send them. That is cool. All right. What happened to Shaw in 2001? A lot of people be like, man, forget Shaw. And you know what I tell them? Shaw didn't do that. There's something called administration that turned Shaw in. Be mad at the administration, not Shaw High School. All right? Yeah. In the Hornville case, I felt like my cousin was the best person for the job he did at White Castle. And you know what? Everybody was saying he was getting the job out of that school. And then all of a sudden, there was a swerve. So no, it ain't forget Hornville. It's forget the administration. Because that's who did something wrong. And with this whole Shaw thing for years, Hank Guy, Baines Father Guy, man, look, can we come together and try to make Shaw High School great again? This whole split makes me sick because they got people from the Hank days, they be like, they don't even consider the 06, 07, 08 team going to the Dome. They don't even consider them like as a real team, which is wrong. And they had nothing to do with what happened in 2001. Okay? Let's get that straight. Them kids ain't nothing to do with that. Be mad at the administration, not Shaw High School. I'm done with it.
I understand, man, and I ain't gonna lie, man. That's something we might have to talk on air about your cousin, because I ain't gonna lie, I understand what he went through trying to get the job at Hinesville, but at the same time, tough year for him in the first year at Central Recruits. My God, I mean, man. But we're not gonna hop over it too much, but we'll talk off air about it, because I thought about
definitely.
you, and I was like, all I'm gonna tell you, I was hoping you're not getting egg on your face for what you were saying. I'm just saying, because it would look bad for me, because I'm like, you're proving me, making me look bad, but I know your cousin's trying but I'm hoping he does well. I know it was kind of rough this year at Central
Yeah,
Florida, man.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
but moving on from there, and I feel that, and I give you a lot of props, Jared. You have a lot of pride for your school, and I really give you that props on that one.
For sure.
But regardless of the fact, since you're a legal beagle to your heart till you die, let's go to class 4A.
No, 3A. We're going to
class
3A.
Three,
3A.
three.
Yeah, 3A.
we're going to 3. Okay, my
Yes,
bad, my bad. Go back to 3. I am so sorry.
you
We skipped
good.
the class. All right. Class 3A bracket. 1 seed is Jennings. 2 seed is, let me get this here, Union Parish. The 3 seed is Lake Charles Prep, the team you was talking about earlier. Church Point is the 4 seed. Local teams, Southeast Louisiana and Ball. Letcher, 17 seed. Bogalusa, 24 seed. Laranger, 25. Donaldsonville, 8 seed. The defending state champion, St. James, is a 5. And also, let's see, make sure. Kenner Discovery, who's made the playoffs for the first time as a 22 seed. Congratulations to them. McDonough 35 and Booker T 15 and 18 seed will be meeting each other in the first round. Let's start with you, Jared, in class 3A. Your picks and which team in Southeast Louisiana could make a deep run in the playoffs.
All right. So I'm gonna start with the top half of the bracket. Okay. Well, before I start with that, hold on. The 1 seed is Jennings. The 3 seed is Lake Charles College Prep. They both finished undefeated, but they are in the same district. They didn't even play each other due to the storm and COVID. In the same district, but since Jennings had a little better power ranking, they got the nod. All right, moving on. I don't see nobody beating St. James in the top half of the bracket. I really don't. I think St. James is a good team, always got talent, always got athletes. I think they're in a prime position to get to the dome on the top half of the bracket. You know, Jennings and Madison Prep. Don't overlook Madison Prep. We've seen them in the dome before with the teams that they have. Don't overlook Madison Prep. But I think this St. James team is on a mission, and I think they're going to the dome. Now, the bottom half. The bottom half. You got 35. And you know 35 is playing, and they're gonna play for Coach Wayne Reese. They are playing for him to win. 35 got to the quarterfinals last year. A good team. A good team. But I really think with the amount of players they got back and the playoff experience that they had from last year, I think Lake Charles College Prep will go to the dome. And I'm not just saying that because I got family on the team and this and that. No. I saw Lake Charles College Prep play last year, and they gave 35 everything they can handle right there at Pan American Stadium and lost by 6 points. The only thing, the only thing that troubled Lake Charles College Prep was quarterback play. That's it. And this year, if the quarterback is accurate with passes, I'm telling you, you better look out for Lake Charles College Prep. I'm going with Lake Charles College Prep to get to the dome. But I think St. James will bring on the title.
All right, Deshaun, your thoughts on class 3A?
So I have an interesting take on Class 3A. I had the pleasure of actually covering that 35 and LCCP game last year, and their head coach Eric Franklin College has done an excellent job out there at Lake Charles College Prep. So
Yes.
much so that he's literally, I mean, those guys, his skill set is in their DNA. Those receivers can run routes. They understand offense pretty well. And the guy playing quarterback last year is actually a quarterback. He just decided to wing
Right.
it that one day. And he's capable of it. He just made some um
Yeah.
with that being said, they're actually my pick to win the entire thing. That was my pick from the get go to win the entire thing. I said that at the start of the season before COVID just ramp up. When they lost last year, I said they're gonna be back. And barring some hell of a run by another team, I won beating them. In terms of the Wayne Reese Bowl that's getting ready to take place this coming week, that's going to be an emotional game. You got the former team of Wayne Reese Senior, coached by Frank Daggs. Now he's going to be taking on his good friend Wayne Reese Jr. Inside of a game, and Booker T. What a job they've done, man. I mean,
Yes.
2 years, the second year of the program. What an amazing job they've done. I've seen them, more than not. 35 is always going to be competitive. At the day, 0-0 in the playoffs, so it does not matter. I do disagree with Jared. I'm not necessarily riding Saint to the championship. It just depends on who they draw at the top of the bracket. Jennings is a pretty solid team. I don't know, if you all too familiar with Jennings
Yeah.
and what they've done this year. I don't see anybody derailing what they got going on unless they run into, Lutcher playing, some type of Herculean effort in the second round. Anything short of that, I don't see anything happening. But I think Lake Charles College Prep, I think the fighting Eric Franklin's going to take it all day, and they're going to win the championship in 3-8. You can mark that down.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's an interesting
Mark
pick.
that
I
down.
mean, they Charles College Prep. They're a really good team. They can make it deep and everything. McDonald 35. I think that McDonald 35 Booker T. That should be a great matchup. Wayne Reed Jr. Very good person. Frank Daggs, my teammate, my offensive line brother. His chance as a head coach, done a good job in his first year, and that's gonna be a great emotional game in itself. I like 35 to hopefully get by Booker T, but I think the winner of that game is gonna make a nice run, and I think I wouldn't be surprised the winner of that game will probably get to maybe the quarterfinals of 3A. They'll probably get to the quarters, and that'll end the run. But I really think Lake Charles College Prep, they'll get there. They'll get to the dome. They are really favored to get there. But on the other side, that's going to be the toughest side of the bracket.
Yeah.
You got Jennings, you got Lusher, you got Madison Prep, Donaldsonville, who's having a great year, and St. James, the defending champs, and West Feliciana. Don't forget about them in Sterlington. Wow, Bobby Breen, former quarterback for West Monroe, who was part of the beginning of the West Monroe era. Man, this is a great side of the bracket right here. Whoever comes out the top is winning the state. And to me, the way it's looking right now, Jennings has the experience. Jennings got to the dome. Jennings can win it all. But I think St. James, the way that they're playing right now under Robert Valdez, and the way that they're coming together as a young team, and now they're hungry to try to get a second state title, I think it will be St. James and Louisiana and Lake Charles College Prep. And I hate to say this, St. James goes back to back. There's no doubt. I think the experience of St. James being in the title game is going to overwhelm Lake Charles College Prep, and St. James will win the state championship. That's my pick. But if they don't get there, if Jennings get there, Jennings will win it all. I like Lake Charles College Prep a lot, and I think they'll get to the dome. But I think the lack of experience in that big stage is going to be the thing that's going to help them in the title game.
I think if we would have gotten a matchup between Jennings and Lake Charles College Prep, I think that would even say more to which team that would have won. They both from the same district, they both undefeated, and they didn't play each other. That is,
They didn't play each other.
yeah, that's because of hurricanes and COVID. Yeah, that would give us a better understanding. Like, oh, okay, he lost to Jennings, and we can be like, okay, Jennings might be that team, but we're not overlooking any other teams. They both good teams. You 5-0, so we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to class 4A, one of the classes we've been waiting on, and I think maybe it's gonna be a quick, but we'll see what happens. This is maybe a wild one. I don't know, but we know it's one team that's gonna take it. One seed is Karen Crow. Two seed is Edna Carr. The three seed The three seed is Tioga. The four seed is Neville, who has risen from the dead after a slow start to the season. So their four seed and local ties going into the in Class 4A. We got Edna Carr as a two, the 31 seed Ellender, the 18 seed Pearl River, the 26 seed Bell Chase, the 7 seed George Washington Carver, the 6 seed Warren Easton, the 22nd seed Landry LB Landry, uh, and also the 19 seed Salmon, and finally the 21 seed John F. Kennedy. Good bit of local teams, good bit of Southeast Louisiana teams in Class 4A. Let's start with you, Deshaun. Which local team is going to make a run? And, who's going to win Class 4A? And I think I know who you think is going to win it. It might be just one sided, but let's go with what you think.
That's why I'm laughing. Go
let me,
ahead.
all right. So, and I'll provide some parity in this. I think that Edna Carr, their matchup through the first few rounds, I don't know, they won't race Ellender easily. I mean, it's not even going to be a contest down when Carr plays. But it has to be about a team that is going for 5 in a row. Do you understand? Like the only thing that hasn't changed in 4A is Carr. They've had teams coming in. They even played St. Aug one year. Like St. Aug championship that year, they don't to the bus or that they call the Car Cougars. And it says a lot. I mean, they had to slip up when they had. I think that was when Eugene Wells was quarterbacking at East Jump. I mean, they wasn't prepared for that. But outside of that, man, they've just been dominant. This year, if there was any other year that there was a chink in their armor, it ain't now. But I don't see anybody getting with them. I mean, I see a team like George Washington Carver making it through to the quarterfinals to play them, and they just don't have enough. But it's going to be a good game. Carver plays Carr close every time, but it's Carr's fault because for whatever reason, they tend to throw the ball even when they up. They're going to throw the ball when they down. They're going to throw the ball to you. They're going to throw the ball every chance that they get, to add points. And sometimes that's a detriment to their offense. In reference to the Bulls, I think Carver always has a good chance to make a run. Warren Easton can beat anybody's schedule if they decide not to turn the ball over. They have that on the outside. They can beat anybody in this bracket, including Carr, if they decide not to turn the ball over. Well, they have that kind of ability. So don't sleep on Warren Easton. John F. Kennedy, a few notables. I mean, decent athletes. They may make it out of the first round against Minden, but I don't see them going any further. They actually have a pretty advance in 2 games, unless when they run into Leesville, but they match up pretty well against Leesville. But Karen Crow is the overwhelming favorite in the district, but I think that Carr pulls it out again. I think that the young quarterback AJ Samuels had this whole season to get himself together. He's an extreme talent. There's actually going to be a feature on him in 2 days on Rivals via PelicanPreps.com. There's going to be a free read. Check it out. But outside of that, man, I think that Karen Crow Carr is like that for a reason, unless Karen Crow slips. Well, I think Carr would be to slip. But if they're going to play, they can be on their quest for another state championship easily.
Your thoughts, Jared, on Class 4?
Well, just to start off, AJ Samuel is my cousin. I just got cousins galore playing high school football in Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? We like the Joseph family. You know what I'm saying? Keep it like that.
Hey, you know what? His mom, with stepmom, was like, "Hey, JB's my cousin." I'll tell you that. I just thought about it just now, and she told me that. Me and her are really close as well.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, looking at this bracket here, And I told my friends of mine I would talk about Kennedy. Shout out to Coach Elphage for the job he's done at Kennedy.
Yes.
Seriously,
Agreed.
shout out to
Agreed.
him. Kennedy got a bunch of athletes, and they didn't play a tough schedule at all. And people like, man, they didn't play a tough schedule. I don't care. You got to start off from somewhere and build confidence from somewhere. Yeah, the schedule wasn't hard, but guess what? Next year, they might be better off for it. They're not going to win a state championship, but Kennedy is in the playoffs. They're going to play Minden, okay? They might go to Minden and win this game. Real
Yeah.
talk. They might get a
Yeah.
win and host a playoff game the next week after. Moving on
Against
down
Leesville.
against Leesville, correct. Moving on down. Um, Carver. For some reason,
Hmm.
like you said, Carver plays down to them. Carver should be whipping Carver, but Carver has talent.
Yeah.
And the
Mhm.
quarterback is Coach Lanaris Elfage's son, who is Lanaris Elfage Jr.
Well,
And
no, he's
that
the receiver.
he's not the quarterback, he's the receiver. Okay.
Mhm.
I was told he's playing quarterback early in the year.
Yeah,
My
he
fault.
does. Yeah,
All right.
can't
So
he can't hit the side of a ball of balls.
I got you. I got you. So if you shut down Elface Jr., the quarterback for Carver, you're in good shape. You're in pretty good shape. I'll give you that much. When I look at Westgate, I always say Westgate might be the most talented team in 4A every year,
Yeah,
all the
every year.
time. They might get to the semis one year, then the next year they out in the second round. You just don't know which Westgate you're gonna get, but they are filled with talent. But they're gonna meet up with Neville in the second round, and I think that's gonna be out for Westgate. Moving on,
Yeah.
Landry, not Landry, excuse me, Warren Easton. To me, is gonna go to the semifinals and play Carr. And every year we see Warren Easton start off slow. They start off slow, but they get better and better and better as the year goes on.
Hmm.
We saw it in the dome last year against Carr. We saw it. To me, the head coach for Warren Easton, I forgot his name. He went
Derek
forward.
Phillips.
Phillips he went forward on first down and got intercepted, and that was it. When he didn't have to go forward, we could be saying Warren Easton state champs, defending state champs. We could be. They're gonna play Carr in the semifinals, and I promise you, once again, that game will be close. Those two teams do not like each other. Back to the top half of the bracket, I think it's going to be Karen Crow and Neville. But this is where experience comes into play. Neville will beat Karen Crow, and Neville goes back to the dome, and we will see Neville play Carr once again. And in the car, five straight, five straight state championships for in the car. In the car is my pick in Class 4A.
Well, taking a look at things in 4A, I've really on the top half. Definitely Karen Crow is the team to beat. They're a very, very good team and everything. But I've seen something in Karen Crow that kind of didn't favor me. But do they have a chance to get there? I think they do. I think it'd be them. I think it'd be probably Karen Crow and probably Neville that will probably get to the semifinals. But I think they're going to get by Neville. This is not a strong Neville team. This is not a strong Neville team.
Don't count them out.
And
Don't
I'm
count them
telling
out.
you,
Don't count them out.
I'm telling you, this is not a strong Neville team. I'm sorry. Like I said, North
We've heard the
Louisiana
same
is
about Warren
not
Easton.
strong.
Don't count them
They're
out.
not. That's no. That's Warren Easton. That's a different animal. That's a different animal. When I say
But we talk
different
about
animal,
Neville that's there every year in the semis and the finals. This is
no,
Neville.
I understand. I understand. But there's a chinks in the armor, and you seen it last year. What Carr did when he went up there, and I was one of
Yeah,
the few people. I
that
was
was the
one of the few
semis.
people that predicted I know, but at Neville, I was one of the few people that predicted that. Not too many people predicted it. I predicted Carl was gonna go up there and beat him, and
I
they
did
beat
too.
him bad.
They beat him bad. Yeah, but
Yeah,
Neville is at least in the semis every year. Every year.
I'm not. I'm not disagreeing with you on that, and I'm not disagreeing with the program or how good their program is. But I'm telling you, they're not that strong. They lost, and you look at their schedule. Good schedule, but look at this. They lost to Ruston. They gave up 38 points, and probably the best team in North Louisiana this year, and that's Ruston. This is probably finally maybe their year. Ruston has been knocking on the door, and this is probably their time. They lose to West Monroe, who got shut out against Karen Crow and only scored 7. Neville,
Hey,
I
that's
don't think
okay.
is that strong.
That's
I don't know
okay.
if that's okay. That's not no, that's not okay. That's unacceptable.
Hey,
That's
let me say
unacceptable in
this.
my
Let me say this.
just
Let me
saying.
say this right quick. Let me say this right quick. Carr lost to Curtis and Calica last year, and people had counted them out, and they came back better. Hey,
Well, I didn't count them.
2008 Shaw, 2008 Shaw, 0-4, and they got to the dome. I am not counting Neville out.
Well, I
No,
didn't I
no,
didn't
no, no.
count out Carr. We didn't count out, I never counted out Carr last year. I
People
said to
did.
myself, Carr I said to myself, Carr might come back to win it all because this was the toughest schedule Carr has ever had. And like I
Wait,
said, the toughest
whoever
schedule
counted
Carr has
out
ever had.
Carr, yeah, whoever counted out Carr obviously was speaking from a kind of like how people do with the Patriots. It's just because you just don't want to
Right.
see them
Right.
again, or the Yankees, or a franchise that just wins for the hell of it. And I think that was the thing with Carr. It's not like lost to Sarah T. Reed or Kip,
Right. Right.
Kip imaginable. Someone that they lost to. I mean, they played a gauntlet of games.
Yeah.
They've been
Yeah.
extremely competitive. I think like 83.
Right. And sometimes if you play tough opponents, sometimes you play that gauntlet. Sometimes it makes you better. And I'm not counting out Neville at all,
Yeah,
not even one bit. But at the same time, some of them losses is kind of questionable because some of these teams are not. West Monroe is not good. Ruston, that's probably the best team in North Louisiana. I give them that. West Monroe's not good.
well,
They're
West
not
Monroe's
that
not
good.
playing. They've opted out.
Wait, what?
What?
West Monroe's opted out.
For,
What?
so you telling
What?
me
I didn't
Chalmette
know
is
that.
going to the second round? Chalmette?
Yeah, yeah.
COVID issues?
I could be mistaken, but hang on a second.
What? Oh, this is breaking news here. That's gonna change things in the 5A. Cause I wasn't picking Chalmette against no West Monroe.
I could be wrong, but
Y'all see my
Hmm.
face.
I will find that again. I just
Well,
Tell you what,
we'll
you
go
go
ahead and looking
find it.
for.
You go
Wait,
find it, but Sean, you keep going.
let me go finish. Let me finish
Yeah.
this off right quick.
Yes.
hey, go
Um,
ahead. All is. I'm
Ka-
just
Ka-
looking for that.
Yeah, Karen Crow, I think will make it to the dome. Now, John F. Kennedy, I think Kennedy, great year for Lennon versus Alphage. I think Kennedy will get to the second round. I think they will pull the upset on Minden. I think, Warren Easton, Carr, I think we'll meet again. But I think Warren Easton will face Landry in the second round. I got Landry pulling off this upset at Cecilia because Landry has been playing better lately. They played very competitive against Carr a couple weeks ago. So, under head coach Keenan Lewis, which really that's a huge controversy over at Landry in the first place. And that's another issue we might have to talk about another show,
Yo.
Jared, because
Mm-hmm.
man, how I feel about that situation in itself, it's like, what the hell are you doing? And not knocking what Landry means and why did they do what they did, but to me, this is almost like, I'm sorry, saying, oh, or call people, they wouldn't do what they wouldn't have did what they did to get their way. That's all I'm gonna say about Landry. But I got them winning the first round against the city.
Mm-hmm.
But the Salmon get by North DeSoto. Maybe I think Salmon might get by. I think the local teams might have success early, but I really think it will be Ed in the car. We'll get back to the state championship. It'll be Ed in the car, Karen Crow, 1-2. But what I seen Karen Crow against St. Thomas more, and it showed me a lot. It showed, and I thought Karen Crow would give a great matchup. But what I seen was almost the same thing years ago when Karen Crow played West Monroe in the state championship, and West Monroe lucked up and won that 5A title. And my words were, if Karen Crow had a decent passing game, that game would not have been close. Karen Crow would have came home with the state championship. They didn't have good quarterback play, and the play caller was horrible. And the same thing happened against St. Thomas More. That what made me think right then and there. I think that is not good for Karen Crow going against Call. Call wins 5 straight. And the new
I found
Go ahead.
my oversight. So I found my oversight.
Yeah,
Apparently, I don't know in my notes for the show. I don't know what made me put West Monroe down. I meant to, Woodlawn opted out of their playoff bracket. Not West Monroe. I'm sorry, I had the wrong team.
Gotcha.
Because I know I just seen.
I was about to say, man.
Hold
But
the press.
speaking of that, it's all good. So speaking of that, we go to Class 5A. The last but not least, Class 5A. We apologize. We're stretching all this out, especially you, Jared. But let's try to close this out strong. 1 seed is Acadiana. 2 seed is John Ehret. The 3 seed is Zachary. 4 seed is Ponchatoula. And local ties, a lot of local ties in Class 5A, including West Jeff, who's made the playoffs for the first time in 8 years. Congratulations to Coach Willie Brooks. And also East Jefferson, who has made the playoffs as well. Destrehan, Mandeville, Ponchatoula, a whole bunch of locals, and Chalmette as well, East St. John in the postseason. Jared, let's start with you. This usually is a wide open class. We know Acadiana is the team to beat, but at the same time, who is a good challenger against Acadiana, or does Acadiana make it to the Class 5A finals?
It's funny you said, this is like Acadiana's. I mean, what pops in my mind, Zachary won three out of the last 5. Zachary won 3 out of the last 5 in 5A. Okay? Zachary's the number 3 seed, the bottom of the bracket. And I'm going to start there first. I really believe Zachary and West Monroe got the easiest ride to the semis. I just don't really see any competition. Okay? What I can say is I don't know much about Central, Baton Rouge, and Alexandria. I don't know much about them. But I do know about Zachary. Ain't no way, no Airline, New Iberia, Southside, Houghton, Live Oak, Alexandria, and Slidell going to beat them going forward. Zachary to the semis. We go to the other part of that bracket, and I'm going to start with number 2 seed, John Ehret. John Ehret finished undefeated. But who did John Ehret play? John Ehret plays in the weakest division in Class 5A, period. And I'm not trying to knock them. That's not their fault. Yes, they got talent. They got talent. But it's not going to get the job done. They got one of the best players in the nation in Kane Williams. And my opinion, Kane playing nickelback for this team? Why? That boy's a playmaker. Let him be at free safety like he's been for the past 2-3 years. 2-3 years. Making plays in the backfield. You got him at nickelback on the line pretty much. I don't get it. But they'll beat Thibodeau, and then they're gonna play East St. John in Laplace. John Harris going home. They're going home in the second round. 2 seed gone. Book it.
Oh wow.
I promise you. I promise you. They're not. They're not.
Man.
Book it. I'm telling you. I'm book it. All right. West Monroe. They going to the semis. I'm sorry. It's easy. There's not a challenge until they play Zachary. Until they play Zachary in the semis.
Really?
I'm telling you. They killing Chalmette. They're gonna play Central Baton Rouge. They're gonna beat them. All right. To get to the quarters, they're gonna play East St. John, beat them, play Zachary, and lose. Zachary back to the dome. Now let me go back up top. Ponchatoula under Hank Tierney has a great offense, great weapons. Do I see them getting to the dome? No, I don't. But I will say Ponchatoula gets to the quarters. Hornville goes to Ruston. Bye-bye, Ruston. Oh, yeah. It's happening. Ruston gone. Hornville is going to Ruston, and they're coming back with the W. Bye-bye, Ruston. That's going to set up a good matchup between Hornville and Ponchatoula. Be a close, tight game, but I think Ponchatoula gets that done. Destrehan takes out Washita Parish. They're going to take out Dusttown and Terrebonne. I'm gonna say Terrebonne gets the upset over Dusttown, but Destrehan gets by them. Mandeville, Lafayette win. Acadiana wins. East Ascension, Captain Shreve, I don't care. Acadiana beats them too. All right, Acadiana goes to the semifinals, and they're gonna play, in my opinion, it's gonna be Destrehan. Rematch for last year's state championship. But Destrehan is not getting past Acadiana. Acadiana's going to the dome. They're playing Zachary. And as much as I want to sit here and tell you Zachary will get 4 out of 6, it's not going to happen. Acadiana repeats as state champions in Class 5A. I dropped some bombshells. I know.
You did. I'm chomping at the bit. Go ahead, Deshaun. Your thoughts.
Okay, so let me just say this to JB's credit. I think Acadiana repeats as state champions. I mean, I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. I think that they make it back to the dome, and I think that they win. You know, I don't think it's gonna be as tough as we're making it seem. It is just how the brackets are orchestrated. I mean, it's set up, they're oriented in such a favorable manner for Acadiana, and that's not their fault. I mean, what are they gonna do with it? Right. However, John Everett is the number 2 seed in this bracket. The reason that I don't believe in John Everett, and a lot of people, local people, are gonna, hate me, is because you look at their schedule, right? They went undefeated. They beat a Carver team 11-8, a West Jeff team 22-18. They pulled away late against Chalmette. They beat up on Bonneville, which they were supposed to. They beat up on East Jeff because they're down. Grace King because they're down. Higgins because they're down. There was literally and the only team that they played that had a remote chance, excuse me, was Carver, and they won by 3 points. They barely beat that.
Deshaun, question: do you agree with me that is the weakest schedule in 5A?
That's the weakest schedule probably in the whole entire thing.
And
I don't know. I'm not sure who they playing.
And weakest district.
Here's the thing. Wait a minute. I understand the district might be weak, but wait a minute. Let's think about this, gentlemen. How many teams in that district in the playoffs? 4.
Well, of course, when you got COVID, no sulfur, no barb because of hurricane. I
understand that. But regardless, I know the district is not that strong. But still, credit that district getting 4 teams in the that has not happened in over 10 years in that district. That's a long time. It's almost like an equivalent a little bit to what happened to the Orleans Parish District, where not just Carr made the playoffs. When you have 35 and you have Del Chase and you have what's the other team? Easton or whatever, 14 making the playoffs at one time or 5. That makes the district kind of strong. I'm not saying that they're the strongest district, but 4 teams in the playoffs helps their power ranking.
But you know how you just said like Warren Easton at 35 and all them? Them dudes, all them teams were getting to the quarterfinals. Ain't none of them getting to the quarterfinals. None of them getting to the second round except for Eric probably. That's it.
I agree with that. Go ahead, Deshaun. Continue. Just saying.
Yeah, I know. So the Eric is benefited from a weak schedule. I don't know why they're playing Kane the way they're playing him. It's worked out for them, but that's because they haven't played anybody. And when they have played somebody, it almost didn't work out for them. They easily could right what they finished with 7-0. They were 7-0. They can easily be 5-2. They could be 4-3, and they would be the exact same team. They're playing that kind of way. I don't know. Hornville traveling to Ruston, I think is a win for Ruston. I disagree with JB in that one, but it wouldn't shock me if it happened. I just don't see it happen. You know, obviously JB knows something. He probably got a cousin play for Ruston. He's a cousin that plays in every bracket that we have.
Cousin from Hornville.
Yeah, he's a cousin like somewhere. So that might be the difference.
Nah, not difference. It ain't. Not this year.
But I mean, I think you said West Monroe makes it to the game. It's just it's set up for them to make a run. I mean, the semis. I'm sorry. Like there's literally nobody on the team. Alexandria's had a decent season. I mean, but who do you know plays for Alexandria? You know, and as far as Ponchatoula is concerned, they're kind of suffering with the same thing that Holy Cross suffers with, except that they figured it out. They actually put their pieces together. They have a bevy of talent on both sides of the ball. Matter of fact, their players are playing on both sides of the ball. Their quarterback is also their defensive back. You know, so they host the other guys. So Ponchatoula has some.
I think we lost him again. Yeah, he'll be back.
Okay. Yeah. But going on to Class 5A, you know, looking at the top on this one, Acadiana definitely will get to the semifinals. You know, I think a matchup with them and Mandeville is gonna be a great matchup.
He's back, VK. He's back.
He's back. Go ahead, Garrett. Go ahead, Deshaun.
Yeah, I was wrapping up. I think that I agree with you. I think Acadiana runs away with this. But I don't see I don't see let me not say run away with it, because I think Zachary is an amazing team. I don't see them repeating again as state champ. There's like too much like right, but stranger things have happened.
Well, on my side, this is the one I say I go out on a limb, and this is the one I said this 2020 crazy things happens, and crazy things been happening all over the place. This is the one class when crazy stuff is going to happen. Acadiana, yeah, they're going to get to the semis. I think Mandeville will give them a challenge. BJ Tot, unbelievable quarterback for Mandeville. They'll give Acadiana a challenge, but Acadiana will get to the semis. It'll be probably them and Destrehan, but don't be surprised Ponchatoula might get to the semis. Don't be surprised. Hank Tierney has a really good team this year. But at the same time, JB, I got to disagree with you on a lot of stuff. Ruston is the best team in North Louisiana this year. No way Hahnville wins that game. So BK Jones guarantee Ruston big over Hahnville. That's how good Ruston is. Ruston is really good. So Hahnville, I don't think they have a chance against them. Not at all. Now, on the bottom, you said Zachary. Yeah, I can agree. They'll get to the semifinals. but it won't be against West Monroe. West Monroe will lose in the second round. West Monroe is not that good. And I'm going to tell you one thing. Head coach Sid Edwards got something again at Central of Baton Rouge. And guess what? West Monroe's got to come down to BR. And Central is going to be waiting. And I'm telling you, Sid Edwards has been there before, been deep in the playoffs. And I'm telling you now, he's trying to go out on top. So I think Central Baton Rouge, they will stun West Monroe in the second round. West Monroe is not that good. I'm telling you, they're not. Karen Crow showed how not that good they are. They got shut out at home. When's the last time you ever seen West Monroe lose, not just at home, but shut out? This is almost like a John Curtis, O'Curry Walker in 2001. 20 nothing, if you remember. But all I'm gonna tell you, West Monroe goes down second round. Now, who meets Zachary in the semi? And I'm going out on them. John Eric. And I'm gonna say this right now about John. Y'all can say what you want to. I don't really care. I'm going out on them. John Eric is really good on defense. John Eric is really good on defense. Really, really good on defense. They are holding it down, especially with K5. K5 is doing this thing, and a lot of other players on defense have been holding it down for John Eric. Now, here's the thing about John Eric that's scary enough for all y'all that don't know, and this is gonna help John Eric. And some of y'all might agree with me, regardless of their weak schedule. Don't get me wrong. The thing I'm gonna agree with, their schedule is not as strong. But a lot of other teams in 5A has not taken advantage and handled their business and hold on to a top 5 seed. So that's why everything was all over the place. And John Eric was in a position to go in and steal a top 2 seed. Now, the scary part about John Eric is we know how good their defense are. Their offense has been getting better. Their offense in the last 4 games, we understand who they went up against, but they beat their brains out, averaging over 38 a game. That was the biggest thing John Eric has lacked in the last couple of years has been offense. And not just offense, the fact that can everybody stay healthy, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Right now, on the offensive side of the ball for John Eric and talking to a lot of inside sources, everybody's 100%. So that's a big thing for John Eric. If John Eric, I'm telling you, that's been the problem with John Eric, has been the offense. Because they always had some key injuries. Remember the Superdome run a couple years ago? They had already knocked out 4 or 5 great players, including their quarterback. They had to use Scooter Harris as quarterback? Come on, man. That's not enough depth. When you build the depth that John Eric has, that's going to help them down the line. I really think John Eric, if they offense get things going in the playoffs, look out. We know how good John Eric's defense is. And I'm like this. It's going to be John Eric. It's going to be John Eric and Acadiana, state championship. All of you. 2020 crazy stuff happens. And it's going to happen again. John Eric wins state.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you
That's
this.
my shocking thing.
John Eric wins state. John Eric not getting the state. And I'm going to say this. In regards to that weak district that you're talking about, I guarantee you, you put Shaw in that district, Shaw can compete with everybody in that goddamn district. I guarantee that, because that district's sad. That district's sad, bro. Real talk. Shaw can compete in that district.
It is.
That district's sad.
It is.
Eric is not getting past that second round.
I don't disagree with you with Shaw. It's just the fact that you found a way to Shaw in every category that we've been in. Out of the 9 that we preview, 5 of them we've some kind of way talked about Shaw. And I think that's a gift, a talent that you're able to do that, without a doubt.
Yeah. I'm like this, man. I don't care what anybody say. I know the Morel people kind of love what I'm saying right now, but I'm like this. I called some upsets before, and I one or two things. I was dead right, or I was freaking close. One year I predicted West Monroe, who was really good, who had Paul Turner at quarterback. I predicted that St. Aug pulled off the upset when they came down to New Orleans, and St. Aug came this close.
What, 17 to
This
7?
close.
Oh, was that
No,
Tyron
no.
was that
No, you
Tyron
talking about
Matthew? Tyron Matthew?
yeah, 14
Tyron
to
Matthew.
12.
That
I
was
think
the Tyron Matthew.
was.
Okay,
Yeah.
Tyron Matthew.
I think it was
Okay,
the Tyron Matthew year when he
I
had the
got you.
pick and St. Aug had the block punt in the end zone and had the lead.
Uh-huh.
They had one play in that game. Paul Turner had a huge run on a 3rd and 14. I was at that game at Ted and covered it. He got the first down, and that key drive helped West Monroe win that game. So plain and simple, I know what I see. I know what I'm talking about. I might be wrong. It's 2 less shoes if Acadiana wins. I wouldn't be surprised if Acadiana, they're the team to beat. But crazy things has happened in 2020. If the freaking Lakers and the dang on Dodgers win championships, all I know, the New Orleans Saints, by hook or crook, might have a chance to win the whole thing this year. And by hook or crook, John Everett is going to win state championship.
Oh God!
Some way,
He said he would.
somehow.
Oh Lord!
Some way, somehow. Hey,
John Everett gonna win.
it's about redemption. John Everett ain't won state championships in '85. They've been waiting a long time for this.
They win it this year.
Hey,
This is gonna be the year.
5 years wide open. Acadiana is the team to beat, but 5 years wide open. Crazy stuff will happen in 5 years. There's a lot of classes that's wide open.
The two main powerhouses gonna play for the state championship. Acadiana and Zachary. They ain't playing for it, bro.
I'm like this, man. I'm like this. John, the biggest thing John Everett is gonna help in that game against Zachary. John Everett got playoff experience now. Zachary got some players that's young. They ain't got all them veterans that they used to. Remember that.
They got playoff experience, bro. 3 out of the last 5 years. 3 out of the last 5 years they won championships. 4 out of the last 5 they at least got to the semis. They got experience, bro.
I know they got experience, bro. It's St. Aug.
You just said John Everett got playoff experience. How you say Zachary don't? They won 3 out of the last 5.
No. I'm talking about what they got this year. What Zachary returned. Zachary a young team. All I'm gonna tell you, Deshaun know this. St. Aug gave them people hell that first game of the year. They gave them hell. They barely won that game.
Y'all, St. Aug beat some good teams. They beat some good teams, and they should have lost. They should have lost to Shaw High School. We gave y'all the game. Okay, that's the truth. I see. I got Shaw in there again. You see like that? Hold on. Look. Let me say this. About St. Aug. They gotta come out playing 4 quarters hard, bro. Because if they do, they are hard to beat. If they come out just play 1 quarter, they in trouble against a good team. It's the truth.
I agree with that. Absolutely.
I told Deshaun not supposed to beat St. Aug. But that day there, yeah, Shaw was supposed to win that game. Straight up.
Yeah, they played that poorly, man. Shaw made enough plays made enough plays to win that game in the 3rd quarter.
Yes.
But they didn't make enough plays down. St. Aug plays down the stretch that allowed them to overcome that. St. Aug had business being in that game for the mistakes that they made. He shouldn't have been the game to begin with. But considering how things had maturated, I couldn't. I was shocked. It was quiet in the stadium for a while.
I told Deshaun in the beginning of the 4th quarter, I said, we're going to see right now if Shaw know how to win. If they can hold on to the lead. I told him that when that 4th quarter started. St. Aug was quiet the whole game. I didn't hear no purple. I didn't hear none of that. Till they took that lead. Them fools woke up, bro.
But at the same time, you got to think, man, St. Aug got your number. And sometimes even close games, they gonna pull it out, man.
St.
Aug got your number.
Wait, we were without our best player, though. We were without our best player, and it showed up.
Look.
All I know, St. Aug got your number. Rommel got our number.
I'm gonna say
so
this.
That's just being real. Romo
gonna say
got
this.
our number.
I'm gonna say this. Deshaun was nervous in the stands. He can admit that he was nervous in the stands. He like, bro, I don't know if I can go a whole year with this, bro. Knowing we lost a Shaw. He was nervous in the stands.
I would be nervous too. I was a little nervous when
And
we
it's
did.
not unprecedented that we can lose the show because, like I said, Trey Reagan's last year. I mean, he stepped on our face
Yeah.
without a doubt. You know, it's not that
At
it's something
homecoming.
unfathomable. I didn't. Yeah, right. It
At,
wasn't even close. However,
at St.
that
Aug's
nobody like
homecoming.
Trey Reagan on that school. Right. Homecoming. Yeah.
At St.
So
Aug's
I
homecoming.
don't see Shaw beating St. Aug. No time unless St. Aug decides to beat St. Aug.
Dude, all I know, this was at St. Aug's homecoming. My wife, me and my wife just not too long got married. And I'm bringing her to a St. Aug's homecoming, meet my people, and getting trounced. What the hell with it? I'm like, something was on Trey Reagan's mind. He just was like, I'm owning you this day. So, but that happens. But all I know, St. Aug owns Shaw, and Romo owns St. Aug. It's just plain and simple. Romo owns us because some people's like, look, we know Hank Tierney used to get St. Aug way back in the day until we finally started getting on Shaw. Jay Ross, and I tell anybody, oh, he was a Shaw. He was a Romo alumnus. Remember, when he was a player, he beat St. Aug twice. He comes to St. Aug as a head coach and won 12 straight against us. He's the Sith freaking Lord of the Catholic League. Plain and simple. I remember one year St. Aug had Romo in a homecoming game. St. Aug only gave up 2 first downs and we still lose. That freaking tell you.
Yeah, we lost district that 2000 team to Romo. You know, matter of fact, we played Romo freshman year when was it Darren Parquette was the running back at Romo.
Yeah,
he was the running back. I mean, that was a bad boy. But then they turn around and play St. Aug again in the first round of the playoffs, and then you see the emergence of Akeem Jala. So that was the transition. Then the very next year, Augustine is loaded. 13 Division I prospects and homecoming against Romo again. So what it was like 14, 15, something like it was something close, 16, 14 or whatever. We wound up losing to Romo. Letting them out. So I mean, even a few years back, I mean, when Wade was the quarterback at Romo, he ran rum shop against them, then we beat them the next year. So it's back and forth thing with Romo.
And I still didn't forget that game, that homecoming game. Why are we throwing the ball on the short side of Brandon Smith? So it 1-on-1 to the kid on the other side. I still didn't forget that game. I was like, man, why are we throwing it on the? I love Brandon Smith, but there was double coverage, 1-on-1. Terrence Dunbar against Jala. Go see what Jala can do, and they go to the short side. We get picked. Game over. I was like, oh my God. So, but Romo just owns us. That's what it is, even now. But regardless of the fact, man, appreciate y'all joining us, man. I can't believe we stretched all the way out, man. My goodness gracious. Jared, we appreciate your patience, man. Thank you so much for letting us get on here, do what we got to do and everything else, man. I hope y'all had fun tonight. Deshaun Daniels, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for joining us on here. Hopefully we'll have you on the show again and everything else. And, we're going to do some special shows once each week. We're going to do it on Sunday afternoons, right, Jared?
I will let you know if we could try to do it maybe Saturday. That might be good, maybe. But definitely Sunday. We'll talk about it. But let's shoot for Sunday afternoon after the Saints game sometime. Let's shoot for that.
Yeah, Sunday afternoon or before the Saints game because they play at 3 o'clock time Sunday. So maybe we can shoot before the Saints, or we can do it after. Either way,
all right.
We'll talk about that.
Definitely.
But we might have you on again, Deshaun. We're gonna try to have other experts as well on the show to discuss what's going on with the LHSA playoffs and other sports and stuff like that. But we'll be on for the next couple of weeks leading to the state championships. You know what I'm saying? But we thank you for joining us right here. VK Jones Show Special Edition. Deshaun, man, Appreciate you, Purple man. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing your thing out there,
Thank
bro.
y'all, brother. Thank y'all.
For sure, for sure.
All day, all day. Jared
You
JB,
have a
I
good one.
will talk to you before the weekend. You know what I'm
Definitely,
saying? So
definitely.
appreciate the time. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, gentlemen. Enjoy
Yeah,
your
y'all too,
Thanksgiving.
fellas. Definitely.
Enjoy
Happy
your
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, everybody. Survive, wash your hands, 6 feet distance, all that stuff and everything. And Facebook or whatever. I might drop a little cash app something because there's a special day coming up on Thanksgiving, and I actually celebrate 42 on Thursday besides Thanksgiving. So I might drop a little cash app something if y'all want to drop something to bless me. I've been going through some hard times or whatever. I'm not trying to beg for y'all to give me anything, but if you want to bless me, I'll put something up on Facebook probably tomorrow or early Thursday about that. But my birthday's coming up, so it's gonna be good to celebrate it with my family and everything else. But I hope everybody enjoy y'all Thanksgiving and be safe. Please do.
Likewise.
So for Jared JB Boyd, for Deshaun Daniels on BK Jones, hopefully we will see you Sunday. We'll give you the details on Facebook and on Twitter and all the social media networks. Y'all be good. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy